Hello, Pridelands. How are we
Huh?
doing? It is time for more talking about books because those are
What?
English.
Is there English?
I'm being weird,
Or
don't mind me.
do we speak English?
No, not well.
Roundabouts. English-ish.
English.
Eng- English.
So, I know I had mentioned last time I did book stuff, was going to try and do the recording for all the Aragon series by the end of, was it April?
I think it was April.
Yeah, neither of us finished it, the entire thing by the end of April.
These are chunky ass fucking books.
Yeah, in total for the reading time for Audible was 80-ish or more hours. I think it was like 88 something.
Track. Because I'm
So,
pretty sure the last book was like 30.
yeah, it was like 31 and some change. But looking back and looking at my statistics, April is when I read most of them, and that was 66 and a half hours. And then I finished up Inheritance in May. And I can't be sure I didn't start Aragon at the end of March, so technically there's a bit of crossover there.
AKA expect to take about 2 or 3 months to read these books.
Honestly, yes, because if you do them all in one sitting, you're going to have a bad burnout, so you're going to want to take a couple of days off in between each book at least.
Yeah, read something in between them if you are the type of person that can do that, or even just like take days where you just listen to music or something. Because
That's what
while
I
I love Paolini, same. While I love Paolini, damn son.
Also, little fun thing for me, this is actually my first time going through the entire series. I'd never finished reading it when I first got the books.
Which I'm so happy that I could experience that with you, because this has been one of my favorite franchises since it came out, and then it became my favorite franchise around like 2016-ish.
Do we call Book Sagas a franchise?
Series, franchise. I guess we could call it a franchise since there's going to be a show.
We're working on a series. We have no.
And there's technically a movie, kind of.
We've already reviewed that. We'll not be talking about it again.
Fair. Valid.
So yeah,
we
we both went through all 4 books, mostly back to back. That was a very fun experience. I can't say rushing through it helped me with understanding some of it, because there's multiple times I had to go back and forth, like, what just fucking happened?
Yeah, like there were bits that would be chaotic as fuck, especially when we got to the later part of the series in general, and we would be experiencing more battles. Just like, wait, what?
More battles and the shift between chapters having different people's point of views.
That too. That started in the second book, and sometimes it would get confusing. That said, the chapters that we got from Saphira's point of view, favorite. Love it so much.
I was so shocked about that because I don't think I ever actually finished Brisingar when I had gotten it. So when I came to those, it was like, hold on.
Like, I had forgotten about those existing as well, so I was just like, oh, wait, this is awesome.
But we'll start from we'll start from the beginning.
Okay. Plot summary for Aragon. This is going to be a lengthy one, so strap in. Shade named Durza, along with a group of Urgles, ambushes a party of 3 elves. They kill 2 of them, and Durza attempts to steal an egg carried by the remaining female elf.
However, she know that his name is Durza at the very beginning, though. So
no, we don't.
Whatever.
We also don't know her name either, which is why they haven't said it yet, I guess. But
yeah,
whatever. Sure, Durza. However, she manages to use magic to teleport it elsewhere. Infuriated, Durza abducts her and keeps her prisoner at the city of Gilead. We don't learn that yet either, but whatever.
I think
Aragon is.
You are reading for the book and not the movie, yes?
Yes, I am reading for the book itself.
Okay. Just
Valid
had to make
question.
sure.
No, that's, again, valid question. Aragon is a 15-year-old boy who has lived with his uncle Garrow and cousin Rowan on a farm near the village of Carvajal, left by his mother 15 years before. While
What's-
hunting, he sees a large explosion and finds a blue dragon egg. We don't know it's a dragon egg
We just think
yet.
it's a very pretty stone.
Wikipedia, get your shit together. Dragon egg in the rubble. Later on, a baby dragon hatches from the egg and bonds with Aragon, giving him a silver mark on his hand.
The getaway
names the dragon-
Ignacia.
C. Aragon names the dragon Saphira after a name the old village storyteller Brom mentions.
We love
He
Brom.
raises the dragon. Yes, Brom is best. He raises the dragon in secret until two of King Galbatorix's servants, the Razak, come to Carvajal. Aragon and Saphira escape and hide in the Spine. It's a mountain range that's nearby. It doesn't actually say that in this, but I figured give some kind of
A little bit of
clarification.
context.
Yeah. They go off to the mountains, but Garrow is fatally wounded and the farm is burnt down by the Razaks. Once Garrow dies, Aragon and Saphira decide to hunt the Razaks in vengeance. Brom insists on accompanying them and gives Aragon the sword Zarek. They don't mention it here as well. Rowan has gone off to be an apprentice at a mill in a different town, so that's why he didn't die.
Rowan is considered not important here in the first book, but he becomes more important later.
Yeah, in the first book, he's just kind of like a basic-ass side character. Aragon becomes a dragon rider.
Though. Is it Roran or Rowan?
Do what? It's Roran. At least that's how I've always pronounced it, both in my head and in the audiobook.
Yeah, the audiobook says Roran, but you're reading it as Rowan? Is that what they have on Wikipedia?
Am I saying Rowan?
Yeah, you were saying Rowan.
My bad. It's totally not that. But no, they have it spelled correctly. I just can't read.
Okay, I was making sure on that.
I can say shit like Galbatorix perfectly fine, but Rowan, no. Roran. Aragon becomes a dragon rider through his bond with Saphira. He is the only known rider in Alagasia, see, I can say that fine, other than King Galbatorix, who with the help of the now dead Forsworn, a group of rogue riders, killed every other rider a century ago. As they travel, Brom teaches Aragon sword fighting, magic, the ancient Elvish language, and the ways of the dragon rider. They travel to the city of Tyrm, where they meet Brom's friend Jode. Aragon's fortune is told by the witch Angela, and her companion, the werecat Solembum, gives Aragon mysterious advice. With Jode's help, they track the Razaks to the city of Drasleona. They manage to infiltrate the city, but are forced to flee after a run-in with the Razaks. That night, they are ambushed by the Razaks. A stranger named Murtagh rescues them, but Brom is mortally wounded. Brom gives Aragon his blessing, reveals that he was once a dragon rider with a dragon named Saphira, and dies. Saphira uses magic to encase Brom in a diamond tomb. Inhale, exhale, bitch. We're still not done.
One of the best burials.
It really was. Like, that was such a cute little tribute. Murtagh becomes Aragon's new companion, and they travel to the City of Gilead, seeking information on how to find the Varden, a group of rebels who seek the downfall of Galbatorix. Near Gilead, Aragon is captured and imprisoned in a jail that holds a female elf he had been having reoccurring dreams about. Murtagh and Saphira stage a rescue, and Aragon takes the unconscious elf with him. After fighting Durza, Murtagh seemingly kills him with an arrow shot through his head, and they escape. Aragon telepathically communicates with the elf named Arya, who reveals she had sent the egg to him accidentally. From her, he learns the location of the Varden. Murtagh is reluctant to journey to the Varden, revealing that he is the son of Morzan, former leader of the Forsworn. An army of Kull, elite Urgals, chases Aragon to the Varden's headquarters, but is driven off by the Varden, who escort Aragon, Saphira, Murtagh, and Arya to Farthing Door, their mountain hideout. Aragon meets the leader of the Varden, Ajahad. Ajahad imprisons Murtagh after he refuses to allow his mind to be read to determine his allegiance. Aragon is told by Ajahad that Murtagh failed to kill Durza, as the only way to kill a shade is with a stab through the heart. Oric, the nephew of the dwarf king Hrothgar, is appointed as Aragon and Saphira's guide. Aragon also meets Ajahad's daughter Naswada and Ajahad's right-hand man Jormungandr. He runs into Angelins. There's a lot of fucking names, I'm sorry.
There's a lot of names.
He runs into... Jesus. He runs into Angela and Solembum again and visits Murtagh in prison. He's tested by two magicians, the twins, as well as Arya. Aragon and the Varden are then attacked by an immense Urgle army. Aragon personally battles Durza again. After a mental battle is overwhelmed by Durza, who slashes him across the back. Arya and Saphira shatter Isidar Mithram, a large sapphire that formed the roof of the chamber to distract Durza, allowing Aragon to stab him through the heart with his sword. He falls into a coma and is visited telepathically by a stranger. He tells Aragon to visit him in the Elven capital Elismira. He wakes up with a scar across his back and resolves to journey to Elismira.
That's how the first book ends.
Yes.
There's so
Sam
much that is
fucking
actually in between a lot of those that this little summary does not cover. And oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so the Knopif, the mass-produced one is 509 pages. The first edition, I'm guessing, the Paolini LLC, is 544 pages. So thick book, yet not the thickest in the series.
No, they just get longer. Also, this man started writing this when
longer.
he was, what, 15, 16 himself?
Yes, I want to say he was roughly the same age as Aragon when he started writing it, and he published it when he was about
19,
Oh, wait, no,
20,
here we go.
I think.
Origins and publication. Paolini started reading fantasy books when he was 10. At the age of 14, as a hobby, he started writing a novel, endeavoring to create a sort of fantasy story that he himself would enjoy. Could not get beyond a few pages because he had no idea where he was going.
Fair.
Reading everything he could about the art of writing, then plotting the whole Inheritance Cycle book series. After a month of planning out the series, he started to draft Aragon, finished it a year later. So yeah, 15 was when he, or 14, 15 was when he started writing it. And it was published in 03.
Originally independent published, then got picked up by an actual company.
Yeah. The actual company is one that published it in 03. And I'm trying to see... Stand behind a table in his costume, talking all day without break, and sell maybe 40 copies in 8 hours. Aw.
I mean,
Poor baby.
He was definitely trying.
He was. But I want to say, I don't know how you first found the book, but I want to say I found it sometime around 03 when it was published.
It later, for sure, because I didn't read it until I was in middle school, which was like 2008-ish.
Okay, so you started reading it around the time Brissinger came out then.
Yeah. I think I had started reading it before Brissinger because I had gotten Eldest, was reading it, something distracted me, bought Brissinger, and started reading that one. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
I want to say the exact same thing happened to one of my friends with either this series or a different series, but yeah, that's a thing. But all right, so we very quickly went over the plot. Personally, just sidelines for this book, and I want to say we may have mentioned it when we were doing our bad movie adaptation.
So much chosen one trope.
So much chosen one trope, which isn't a bad thing because when it's done well, it's done well. But also, and this is something that I can't unsee now that I've watched them, there's a lot of similarities between this and Star Wars.
There is.
Which again isn't a bad thing.
No, it's a very common trope, and going off of how successful Star Wars is, it's not surprising to have some similarities when you're only writing this as a teenager.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell from how he's writing it that he was a teenager when he was doing it.
Definitely. It is one of those things that if you were to read these books, the first one you might have the most kind of issues with just because of how it's written, because of his age, but at the same time, it's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you start it at a younger age. Kind
Yeah.
of like how we did. So we were
It
able
makes
to
it
kind of
easier for you to
follow it
understand
along.
because it's written the same language you would have been basically using around that age.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you could consider a children's or young adult book because it was written by a child / young adult for essentially that same age group.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote something that he himself wanted to read, which, hell, I can appreciate.
Absolutely. But going into the actual book itself. So as we have Aragon, the titular main character, he's out in the middle of the spine hunting to get food for his family for the winter coming up. The egg appears and basically kind of ruins that. At the time, we don't know it's an egg. We think it's just a very pretty stone. He's going to try and sell it. Nobody wants it because of where it came from.
The spine in the story, it has a lot of superstitions and just like spooky things in and about it that aren't fully explained. But the specific person that he tries to sell it to first, which is Sloan the Butcher, lost his wife in the spine. I think she fell over
The falls.
She fell out of she fell over a waterfall, which shit happens. But since then, he does not want anything to do with the mountains. He hates it. And
he's very reluctant to even accept meat from the spine, but he does because, he's a butcher.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things that he reacts very negatively. And so we see a good bit about Sloan as a person in this first book.
He is a dick.
He is a dick. And he doesn't really get much of a redemption, but
No, he doesn't. But that's much farther on.
Yeah.
After this, because Sloan refuses to actually buy the stone at the time, Horst, the local blacksmith, comes and says, "I'll pay for this. You just pay me off by coming to work for me whenever my sons go off to finish their training and stuff." Which never ends up happening.
It doesn't end up happening, which is a shame. But if had that actually happened,
that is such a cool thing.
That is a cool thing, and that would have been a very good apprenticeship for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because blacksmithing, especially back then, was just like you could do a lot and you could be very well if you learned blacksmithing. But after the whole thing with Sloan, he ends up going back to the farm where he talks with Garrow. Garrow is initially very unhappy with the fact that he accepted help with Horst because Horst paid for the meat.
Yeah, Garrow's one of those, if I can't do it myself, then oh well.
Then we just ain't gonna have it. If I can't get it, we ain't gonna have it kind of thing. Which is fairly common in farmers, honestly.
It really is.
But he and Aragon plan to sell the stone whenever the traveling merchants come into town. So
we also hear from Roran at this point about how he's planning to go to Therinsford to work at the mill there and raise money.
Yeah, because he wants to marry Sloan's daughter, Katrina.
We can already tell from there how that would go, because Sloan just doesn't like Aragon's family.
Which doesn't make sense, because I want to say they're... Because isn't her mom and Roran's mom, like, cousins or something?
I don't know if they were cousins, but it was mentioned that they were extremely close.
Yeah, so like best friends or cousins. I don't think they were sisters because ew, don't marry your cousin.
No.
But something along those lines. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of names in this fucking book.
This is also a very back area, far away from the kingdom, little village. So there's probably a lot of people that are related to each other in one way or another in that village.
True. I don't think though that Paolini is gonna have like incest.
He would not.
And stuff. At least not in the smaller villages. He might do the whole historical thing with the royalty, keep it in the family type shit, but
I don't think that's ever
'cause-
mentioned, but
it's not because the
Galbatorix
of
never
the
even has a kid.
do what
Galbatorix never even had a kid.
that we know of. I swear to God, if that's the thing that he does in the later books, though, it's going to be Palpatine returns type shit.
Motherfucker.
As far as we know, the only member of the quote-unquote royalty that you could argue be royalty that had a kid was,
Morzine.
yeah. But anywho, all right, so the traveling merchants come into town. We find out that they can't really do much of anything with the egg because the guy that they show it to is like, this is a really weird thing. I could try to sell it, but you wouldn't get the money until like spring, if you even get the money, because we've had people like fucking with us.
We've been getting raided.
Yeah, we find out that there's been some difficulty in the greater world, kind of building up tension and things like that in the story. It's about this time, whenever they return from the traveling merchants, that Saphira hatches and all of that starts. I will say, I want to say that there's a couple of chapters in between her hatching and the Razaks actually showing up.
There is a decent couple of chapters that's talking about how she grows, how they bond, start to feel the connection with each other and all that. And the day-to-day of them finishing all the prep of like the fields and stuff, because we've officially gone. No, we're not done with winter. This only takes place over a couple of months.
The first part of the story only takes place over a couple of months because as he's hunting in the spine, he's trying to get meat before the first freeze.
And then whenever everything is attacked, it's deep snow.
Yeah, it's actively snowing. He's struggling with all of that. So the first part takes place over a couple of months. I want to say it's still somewhat winter as they leave after.
It is. Because after Garro's death, he suffers for roughly about a week, I think, before he actually fully passes. And after that, Aragon has this whole revenge plot of I'm going to go and kill the Razak, even though I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Which is where Braum comes, finds him. It's like, so what are you planning on doing?
I'm going to kill these people. He's like, how about we slow our roll?
I'm coming with you.
It's like, great, love that energy. Let's think about what the fuck we're doing first.
And then they start their journey out of... Yeah, Braum is the very much, sit down, fucking think.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's think about what the fuck we're doing first. That stereotypical mentor that is doomed to die, and
you can very much see the Qui-Gon Jinn or the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Or the Yoda, honestly.
Yeah, no, he's more like Yoda. He's a hermit.
Yeah, storyteller, hermit. He's hermit. But, okay, so because the farm is destroyed, he and Saphira have to leave because people are starting to wonder what the fuck is going on. Why are the Razaks chasing Aragon?
There's also giant footprints that have been spotted in the area.
Giant fucking tracks that are in and around the area. Like, what the hell's going on? A lot of people are getting suspicious, so they're just like, all right, we gotta go.
So then they begin their journey to... The Varden's not mentioned at this point, but we know that Braum's trying to take them to the Varden.
I will disagree with you here. He's not trying to take him to the Varden. He is genuinely trying to train him up and try to get him to the Razaks. Because he says to Jode later that he's trying to avoid the Varden because he thinks he's too young, they're going to eat him alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at this point, they are trying to figure out more about the Razaks, where they can find them, how they can defeat them, and they're trying to learn about their enemies. And while he's learning about the enemies, Braum is teaching him, as it says,
swordsmanship,
sword fighting,
basic magic. Because he doesn't go super in depth with the ancient language. He just teaches things that he thinks Aragon will need to survive.
Yep. So he's trying to train him as best as he can so that he doesn't, fucking die. I think Braum ends up dying before he even learns that there's a shade, doesn't he?
Shades are talked about, but I don't think he learns about Durza yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he knows that Durza is here until
he's captured in Gilead.
Found out. Yeah. So Braum ends up dying before we even find out about Durza. I'm pretty sure Arya. Like he mentions that he's having prophetic dreams.
Yeah, we have the visions before Braum dies, but Braum doesn't make any kind of comments about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he couldn't tell she was an elf from the dream either. Because I want to say, had Aragon known she was an elf from the dreams, Braum might have been like, "Oh shit, we might actually have to do something about this."
Yeah.
And things could have potentially gone differently.
But a little thing on their first leg of the journey, Aragon knows absolutely nothing about magic at this point, and this bitch just fucking wills it into existence in a fight against a couple of Urgals after they come across a village where everybody was slain and thrown into a pile, and a baby head was mounted on a pike.
Trigger warning.
Yeah.
He thinks that the ancient language is just a swear, so he says Brisingr, thinking that he's essentially cursing these motherfuckers. Turns out,
and then all
no,
of a sudden, a huge amount of power runs through his body, fires out of his bow, and he shoots an arrow, and the whole area around explodes.
Yep.
Which
he almost dies.
Yeah, as is explained by Braum, is like, you used something in no way it should have been capable for someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yep. Because as it turns out, the magic system for this story, the amount of energy that it takes to use magic or do the spell or whatever it is that you're trying to do is the same amount of energy that it would take had you done it manually.
Yeah, so like say lifting a rock with magic, same amount of energy that you would to lift a rock by hand. Same with throwing it or building something with magic.
So that's why a lot of people that learn magic train all of their lives to make sure that they can do it well and have enough power to not die.
But after all of the journey up to Tyrm and then heading for Drosleona, we have a lot of just kind of the repetitive training, sword fighting, learning the ancient language.
Mm-hmm.
Does he start teaching Aragon how to actually read and write at that point, or is that something he picks up later?
He teaches him how to do it in Tyrm because that's something that he has to do. One of the things that they start doing while they're in Tyrm is looking through the shipping records, and Aragon mentions that he never learned how to read or write.
Garrow didn't think it was important.
Yeah, Braum is aggravated because Garrow knew how to read and write. He just never taught him.
He also never taught Rory.
So, yeah, which becomes a problem later, but we'll get to that too.
Just letting everybody know, this is going to be a much longer one because we're covering 4 giant books.
Yep. Murtagh and the new series are going to be a separate thing because I haven't even gotten to that one yet. And this one, like Kitty said, is going to be a very lengthy discussion.
Might have been better to do these all as like individual books each time, but hey, whatever. Live and learn.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it, we'll do it live. After they go to Tyrm, meet Jode, and do the thing, they figure out they have a good idea of where the Rozhaks are, which is why we go to Drosleona, because that's where the special little weapon thing, the poison that the Rozhaks use is a specific type of oil that jewelers normally use to help pearls be more
lustrous.
Yeah. But if you do a certain ritual, do a song, do a dance, do a sacrifice, probably under
Probably.
certain type shit, then it becomes severely acidic to the point where
You can't heal from this
it'll
acid.
you'll just be eaten from it.
Like, we didn't mention it, but there is a very big description of how Garrow looked after this poison, and it's graphic.
Yeah, they use it specifically on Garrow. I imagine it's probably something that they use for torture,
Oh, it definitely is.
but that's how we end up losing Garrow. All right, so we figure out that the Rozaks are probably in Drasleona because of Helgrind. Helgrind is like a small little crop of mountains
It
that
definitely ain't small.
Well, when I say crop of mountains, there's only like 4 of them.
It's a giant, basically, tower of mountains that's on the side of Drasleona where the Rozak live.
That thing. So
But-
we narrow down to where they are. We go to Drasleona to try and
Aragon
infiltrate them.
decides
find
that
them.
while waiting for Braum to get information, I'm going to explore the city a little bit. Goes to the cathedral. It's like, ooh, this is really pretty. Starts praying. Turns around, Rozak are right fucking behind him.
In his defense, he didn't really do anything.
No,
was
he
just
didn't.
exploring.
So
He
then
just
all of a
has really
sudden
shitty fucking luck.
we get into a big fight in the middle of the city and have to evacuate. And
Yep.
then we have where they're camping at night thinking, oh, we've gotten away. Nope, the Rozak ambush them. Murtagh comes in to try and rescue, but Braum basically gets struck down. He's poisoned. Dies from the poison.
Yeah. He sacrifices himself to save Aragon. Aragon is tore up about it because, I mean, yeah.
Like, this has basically been a secondary father figure to him.
Don't be like a dad to this man. Don't be like a father to this man. You will fucking die.
Yeah,
Like,
because
fucking
that Oramus as well.
Ormus, Garrow, fucking Ajahad, do not be like a father to this man. Hrothgar, he was just an uncle.
Hrothgar adopted him in, but that's second book.
True. Just leave this little orphan boy alone. You will die. But Braum passes. It's
We get the
very
Diamond
emotional.
Tomb, which is all a very, very much heartfelt scene there.
Oh yeah.
Like, this
there's,
man
like,
will never decay because he's in a diamond tomb.
Mm-hmm. Which is honestly fucking cool.
Yes. And after that,
And
we have... They decide to go to Gilead because of the
Yep.
visions that Aragon's been having. He gets, I think, a couple of words from Arya in one of the visions because she sees him. And it's Murtagh, I think, that figures out where based on him describing the vision.
I don't know if that's it. No.
It was
Wait,
Braum that did, I think. Then,
No, they weren't originally going to Gilead. They were looking for the Varden.
Oh, but
Aragon figured,
because
"Fuck
they
it."
went to Gilead to go and kind of stock up, Aragon
They
gets
were
captured.
looking for Murtagh's friends who might have had information about it and might have known how to get to it.
Did we ever even
but
learn the name of that friend?
I think we did, but I really can't remember.
Not important enough.
But pretty much, like, we don't even actually meet the guy, but he's mentioned. But someone recognizes Murtagh. Aragon gets captured. He wakes up in the cell. He's drugged and can't use magic. And he figures out that the woman that he's been dreaming about is not only in the jail with him, but she is an elf. So he is smart enough to stop eating the food and stuff that they're giving him because that's how they're drugging him.
He has a very
eventually
good survival instinct. He really does.
gets-
He has a good survival instinct. He just gets into trouble.
Saphira is right. Shit happens to him when they're separated. But he eventually gets the drugs out of his system enough to the point where he can contact Saphira and use a little bit of magic. So
he is,
they
however,
al-
weak because he's been starving himself. So
Yeah, no water, no food, no water. So they Murtagh and
Saphira
Saphira,
flies in and crushes the roof of this jail to try and get to
yeah,
him.
she rips this motherfucker off. Saphira said bye.
It's like, you were not
So
taking my human.
yep. So Murtagh and Saphira rescue Aragon. They bring along Arya. He uses magic, the telepathy that they were talking about, because you can enter someone's mind and communicate with them. He uses that to figure out what the hell's going on with her, because
Arya's been poisoned.
she has been poisoned, and by this point it had been a few days since they exited Gilead, so he was just like, all right, I'm kind of worried. So he communicates with her, and
If she
he
wakes up,
figures-
she's gonna die, basically.
yeah, if she wakes up, she might have hours, whereas if she leaves herself in this like magical sleep, then she can last a couple of days. But they need
I think
to,
there was a total of like 2 weeks that she had.
I think, but they need to get to the Varden, which is across Hatterack Desert, which
A
is this
giant
fuck you ass
160
desert.
miles, I think is what they said they traveled in 5 days.
Was it 160 miles or 160 leagues?
Leagues. There's 160 leagues on horseback.
For those of y'all that don't know, 1 league is 3 miles, so triple that, and they did that shit in 5 days. These horses,
Were
it's a good
run
thing-
ragged.
it's a good thing that these motherfuckers were basically bred to be war horses, because otherwise they'd have fucking died. They were
Yeah.
tired. I feel so bad for, I don't even remember what Murtagh's horse's name was.
I don't remember I remember Snowfire, but I don't remember Murtagh's. Did we ever learn the name for his horse? I don't think we did.
We did, because it was named after his tutor.
Oh, Tornak.
Thank you. Yeah, so Tornak and Snowfire were just like run the fuck to pieces. We
These
eventually
poor
get
things.
poor things. We eventually get to the Varden. We figure out that we're on the wrong side of the waterfall, essentially, so we have to cross the waterfall while the Urgles are bearing down on us.
They basically don't. One person in the Varden decides, you know what, break protocol. These people are about to die. Open the doors and grab them.
Yeah, Oryx said, fuck you guys, I'm gonna grab them, and so they do. They end up killing all of the Urgles, which are super Urgles Cull. They're like twice the size
Cull.
or something like that. Yeah.
A standard Urgle is roughly about 7 to 8 feet. The Cull are roughly about...
I thought the Cull were 8 feet and the Urgles were like closer to my size.
No, the Urgles were taller than a standard human. Then you had the Cull, which were like at least 1.5 times as big. I'm fairly certain. Because it's mentioned much later on, because Aragon, by the end of this, is roughly about
physical
6 feet. And the Cull that he talks with at the end is at least half his body height taller.
Urgles can be anywhere between 6 to 9 feet tall. An Urgle's height depends mostly on hereditary factors. If an Urgle is 8 or more feet in height, they are considered a Cull. Okay, so Urgles are somewhere around 6 feet. If they get taller than 8 feet, then they're Cull.
Yeah.
Which tracks. Okay, so we're in Farthen-dûr, which is the mountain strongholds of the Varden.
The mountain stronghold of the Varden
and
and the royal... Yeah, the dwarves, but it's the central of the dwarves where the king of the dwarves is actually at.
Yeah, it's considered their capital city where most of them reside. But Aragon and Murtagh have to be tested by the twins, which are these really skeevy fucking... I almost said musicians.
They are not musicians.
No, they're not. They probably couldn't carry a tune in a bucket.
Probably.
Anyway, magicians, they go into Aragon's mind to try and like figure out if he can be trusted, but they are not gentle about it.
Way too fucking hard.
Yeah, they're super not gentle about it. It's described as being painful, and with the help of Saphira, he kind of hides some of his more like personal memories, like stuff about
his family.
I don't think he's able. Yeah, he isn't able to hide stuff about his mom, but he hides all of the ancient language that he learned from Braum. stuff about Saphira, just things that he doesn't want them to know, as well as the stuff that he got from Angela and Solomon.
Yeah, which almost
Well,
no one ever learns about that except for, I think, Arya.
Yeah. They deem that he's acceptable and passable. He can be trusted. So they try to do with Murtagh.
Murtagh refuses that outright.
Yeah, he's
he would
like
rather
fighting
be locked
them to
up.
the point. Yeah, he's fighting them to the point of, I'm pretty sure he gets like a fucking nosebleed. I'm surprised this man didn't get an aneurysm. But he's
I think his entire thing, he didn't even let them. And when they did try, he blasted them back.
I don't think he blasted them back, but I think he had mental barriers that were so strong that they couldn't even fucking penetrate.
Yeah, no, he learned because of his father. Protect your fucking mind.
Yeah. So Eragon says, fuck you guys, leave him alone. It's not like you've already said that I'm trustworthy, so you can't use me as a means to like make him do the thing, or Murtagh says it, I can't remember. So basically they decided, all right, well then you're gonna have to be in jail. He's like, fine. So this man would much rather be in jail than have these random fuck dudes in his brain, which valid.
Good reason.
Yeah, Ajahad does recognize him because I guess he sounds like his father.
A very strong family resemblance.
Yeah. So he's just like not really trusting of him, but he puts him in a cell and he lets him stay there. And the cell is fairly nice. It's still jail.
Ajahad actually trusts him more than he lets on.
I think he does, or at least is okay with him being there because unless
he did just bring the Dragon Rider here to us.
Yeah. Eragon trusts him. Eragon is trustworthy, so at least
Eragon trusts too hard sometimes.
He does.
But he's also only 16 at this point, because it is mentioned in this book that he hit his birthday, never celebrated, but he has officially become a man in terms with what Carvajal said. At 16, you became a man.
It just reminds me of the fucking line from Little Mermaid. I'm 16, I'm not a child. Sit your fucking ass down.
You are still a child. And I think even by the end of all this, he might only be 17, 18.
Yeah, he's still very much a child.
But no, he's there with a Varden for all of like 3 days before a giant attack comes from Durza and all that.
We find out from one of the dwarves living in the lower levels that they're seeing signs, or they're hearing signs of an army approaching. So they are able to be warned early enough that they can make preparations to not be taken by surprise. They do get a chance to kind of recuperate, breathe, get their energy back, which is very good because they just rode
5 days, a long fucking way.
Yeah.
Like half of that was also across a great ass desert.
Yeah, which no thank you. But Murtagh's still in jail for all of this. Eragon is going around meeting people that will become major players in later books. He meets Hrothgar, he meets Maswata.
He gets his first hangover.
He gets his first hangover. So does Saphira, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Saphira got drunk as fuck.
We find out that Saphira likes mead.
Yes.
But we find Angela and Solembum again, and he blesses a child, Elva.
Poor Elva.
Put a pin in her. Poor Elva. Put a pin in her.
Yeah, we'll come back to that because that gets in book 2 and 3.
And 4.
4, not quite as much. He's important there, but the blessing thing isn't as much there.
We'll circle back.
Yes.
But we get ready for the battle. Everyone gets armor, even Saphira. Like, they have dragon armor for her. Yeah. Everything is fucking chaos. Pretty much everyone,
I think, is let out in this one. He's actually freed to help, unlike the movie showing where he broke out.
He just fucking breaks out.
Yeah, no, he was actually let out.
Allowed to fight. Yeah, he is allowed to fight, but people are like really nervous about him being there because obviously he's the son of Morzan.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure even Angela fights in this.
Yes,
but we
Angela
don't
fights in
see
this
a-
one as well. We see a little bit at the beginning, but that's before Durza actually shows up, and then we have a huge focus on Aragon versus Durza.
Yeah. Even Naswada fights, but like she doesn't. Her dad doesn't know that she's there
Yeah,
fighting.
no,
but
she
she's
snuck
like,
into the
"I'll help you on
battlefield.
fight." Yeah.
And she's
Barry
only like
Arwen,
18, 19, right?
She's not. She's not much older than Aragon. I want to say she's somewhere around either Murtagh or
Murtagh was roughly about 19, I think, in this.
I want to say he and Rowan.
He and
Roran.
Roran were about the same age, and Roran was, I
Yeah.
think, 20.
I want to say he
Nasawada
was
was like
18.
Nasawada by the end of everything is like barely in her 20s.
Yeah, like these are not old characters.
The
These are
world
very
is
much
left to
babies.
children.
Well, you know, we got to make the kids save the world.
The only adult we have as a main character is Arya.
Yeah, because she's 100. We don't find that out until like book 2, but she's the only adult.
Angela's
even-
not really a main. She's a good character, but she's a side.
Still one of my favorite.
She is still one of my favorites.
I want to say Arya is still considered young by Elven standards because she's
Arya is
only
very
100.
much considered young by Elven standards. Because elves
Yeah.
can live into the thousands.
Yeah, well, eternal life because of the whole thing with the dragons. They do go on to explain that a little bit in later books, and we'll get to that.
Yeah,
But
Arya is still very much in her youth, and this is after having spent 70 years going between the Varden and the elves.
burying, yeah, she spends 70 years burying Saphira's egg back and forth between Elismira and the Varden because
So when she sets out, she is still a baby, basically, to the elves.
Yeah. We're trying to find someone for Saphira to hatch. There's the big battle in Farthendur.
The shattering of Isidar Mithrim, which Saphira feels bad for, but is like, this is necessary to save my human.
I don't think Saphira feels as bad about it as
Aragon.
she lets on. As Aragon feels horrible for it because the Isidar Mithrin is a very large,
It's
very
basically the
intricate,
centerpiece
very
of
gorgeous.
dwarven culture.
It is a giant star rose set in, it's like a sapphire?
It
like
was
a pink
sapphire.
Yeah,
No, I thought
and
it was a
it
blue
is
sapphire.
their. To what?
I thought it was a blue sapphire.
I thought it was pink.
I don't know. It was one of the two.
Anyway, the dwarves are very proud of it because it took years for this thing to be crafted.
It was
is
one of their
considered
it was one of their initial craftsmen, I believe, who painstakingly took it until the day he died. Like he finished it
he
and
finished it
died.
and then he died. Yeah. If it's not their initial, he is considered the greatest because of what he did. Like, he ignored pretty much everything else, and that was his main focus.
He ignored even his own family.
Yeah. But the dwarves are real fucked up about it. Saphira feels bad because Aragon feels bad, but I don't think Saphira feels bad. She's just like, I did what I had to, but you know what? I'll fix it.
Which that's not even said until in the second book.
Yeah. Well, we're transitioning, I think, from book 1 to
Yeah, because
book
this
2.
is basically the end of book 1. We have the fight with Durza. Aragon gets
Yeah.
a huge ass scar across his back, which is, I feel like, possessed slightly by the evil spirits.
I don't exactly know if it's possessed or if it's just like a curse thing because a shade gave it to him. But the scar on his back makes it to where he can't really do much of anything physical without going into very painful seizures.
Enough
Which
to the
is
point of
how-
passing out regularly.
Yeah. And which is how he is contacted by the cripple that is whole. Their words, not mine.
Yes.
And that is the end of book 1. We are getting ready to go to Elismira.
Which a fun thing that I like for the Audible version for these is that at the beginning and the end of each book, and sometimes in between the chapters, they have a little musical interlude
Little
that
bit
was
of
made
music.
specifically for them.
Yeah.
Yes. Like I got so confused when that happened at the end of the first book. It's like, did my music just start playing?
No, it's just like this little bonus thing. And if you listen to the audiobook, depending how you feel on things, the
Saphira's
voice
voice is weird.
this is very divisive. To me, it makes sense because it is very gravelly, so you would think a dragon would have somewhat of a rougher voice because breathing fire and whatnot. However, Severa's voice is always described as like what super regal sounding.
It's a melodic
Yeah.
voice. And then the audio book just makes it weird. Like that's
Yeah.
the one thing from the movie that I did like was the person they chose as the voice for Saphira.
Rachel. Yeah,
Yes.
Rachel Weisz did a very good job as Saphira. She's one of the very few people that I would consider returning to the TV show. Her, Jeremy Irons, who did Brahm, and I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy that played Ajahad.
But now moving on to book 2, Eldest.
Two, Eldest. We didn't say like when. Well, we kind of did. The first book came out in 2003. The second book was published in 2005, and it had there you are. Hardcover edition pages 694. So we getting thick.
I owned all of the hardcover ones.
Same. I need to get hardcover ones for Mom. Eldest begins at. Hold on, I'm getting water for this.
Yeah, no.
Give me a minute.
Hydration break.
Hydration break. Okay. Eldest begins as Ajihad, the leader of the rebel Varden force, is ambushed and killed while the twins and Murtagh are assumed dead. Ajihad's daughter, Nasawada, is elected to command the Varden and decides to move them to Serta and oppose the Empire openly. Aragon and Saphira decide to travel to the forest Duwelden Varden to be trained as dragon riders by the elves. The dwarf
Don't worry
king
if you guys
Hrothgar-
don't know how to pronounce a lot of these. The ancient
There-
language is hard.
Oh god. There is a thing in the back that helps you pronounce these. The only reason why I'm able to get some of these correct, except for fucking Rowan, apparently. Roran. Yeah, except for him, apparently. But the only reason why we can get these is because we just read the audiobooks.
That and if you have the actual hardback, or I think the paperback also had it, each one in the back has a little addendum for the ancient language that
How
was
you can
used in the book.
It has, yes, it has a glossary for the ancient language, what is said and what it means, but it also has, I want to say at least in later books, how to pronounce these bitches for names.
It actually does have in there like the little parentheses of the phonetics for how to say them.
Yeah, thankfully, because
Yes.
it's fucking Hrothgar is spelled Hrothgar.
That one's easy enough to kind of sound out, but other ones you have in there.
Galbatorix. Yeah, some of these get fucky. Hrothgar adopts Aragon to his clan and is now his foster brother. And
Oric is now his foster.
wait, hold on. The dwarf king Hrothgar adopts Aragon to his clan and has his new foster brother. Okay, there it is.
There's the proper
I-
English.
English, what's that? Has his now foster brother Oric accompany him to the forest. There, Aragon meets the stranger who contacted him, revealed to be a rider, Ormus, and his dragon, Glader.
Later.
The only dragon and rider secretly alive. However, both are crippled and so cannot fight Galbatorix directly, choosing to pass on their knowledge. Aragon and Saphira are taught the use of logic, magic theory, scholarship, and combat, among other things. However, having received a back injury in the previous book, Aragon is beset by agonizing seizures, which debilitate him.
There you go.
Thank you. He also struggles with his romantic feelings for Arya, while Saphira has similar struggles towards Glader.
Oh.
Do not date your teachers, kids. Arya becomes aware of his feelings and distances herself from him, while Saphira is violently rejected by Glader. He says no, and she reacts violently. Actually.
Yeah.
Though the two come to an understanding afterwards. Eventually, in an ancient elven ceremony, the Agati Brethren, Jesus.
It was said in the audiobook, and I'm not even going to try.
the Agati Lodrin. I am going to fight this man. Aragon is affected by powerful magic, turning him into an elf-human hybrid and healing his back injury. He makes another romantic attempt on Arya, but she gently rejects him and leaves to rejoin the Varden. This man needs to take a no.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, unknowing all of this, Aragon's cousin, Roran, I did it right, returning home after hearing of his father's death, plans to marry Katrina, daughter of Sloane, the village butcher. This man wasn't even mentioned until this part. Okay. While the village is unexpectedly attacked by Galbatorix's soldiers and the Brazak who had killed Garo, Roran fights the soldiers with a hammer, which becomes his signature weapon, while the entire village mounts a defense during which Roran proposes to Katrina. It ignites a feud between himself and Sloane in the process. Go figure.
Sloane
night,
goes
Roran-
so far to protect his daughter that he sells out the village.
Spoilers, but yes.
That's actually what you're about to probably be saying. So,
Well, no, we're just about to get to the point where she's kidnapped. One night she's kidnapped. Where the fuck was I? Night's View. One night, Roran wakes up to find Katrina being taken by the Rozaks, who sneaked into the house. Forced house.
I guess
Sneaked
that's
into
proper
horse.
English.
It says sneaked. I'm reading how it said.
Sneaked is technically the
Snuck.
proper English, but snuck is what we usually say.
They broke the fuck in. There we go. They seriously injure him, capture Katrina and Sloane, who is revealed to be in league with the Rozaks, and then knocked out and flown away by them, along with Katrina on their mounts and parents the Leather Blocka. Remember what we said about names.
Yes.
Torn between chasing after Katrina and staying behind to defend his home, Roran rallies almost the entirety of the village to travel to Serta and join the Varden. On the way, they journey to Tyrm, where Rowan meets Jode, Brom's friend, who informs him about Aragon and decides to go with him. With Jode's help, they steal a ship. This is the wild part of the story, I'm not gonna lie.
skip so much of Roran's thing in this little summary.
We
Jeez.
do. We do. A lot of it is him defending him. At first he's hiding, and then he's defending, and then he's coming to terms with the fact that he's killed like 5 people.
He
They
eventually
steal a
loses
ship.
count of how many people he's killed, but he does keep an active count up until one point of how many he's killed because I
He
guess
doesn't
at
wanna
one
lose
point
himself.
he doesn't want to forget, but I think at one point he wants to eventually be like, let's give remembrance to all these, and then it's just to the point of how many have I fucking killed now?
All right, this is a bit excessive. Journey towards Serta by the sea. In Serta, Naswada collaborates with King Orin while facing the burden of leadership. She hatches a plan to fund them by selling magically crafted lace.
What
to
is with
alleviate
this
that-
man and all of his names that have O sounds?
Girl, I don't know. We're gonna pick a vowel and we're gonna fucking go with it. I like how they mention the fucking lace, but they skip half of. Okay.
They mentioned the
I will
lace.
They mentioned the lace. She hatches a plan to fund the Varden by selling magically crafted lace to alleviate their financial troubles. She also meets Elva, a child supposedly blessed by Aragon in the previous book. Aragon is revealed to have botched the blessing with poor phrasing, accidentally forcing Elva to feel the pain of others. Elva uses her abilities to save Naswada from an assassination attempt. Naswada eventually learns that Galbatorix is building a massive army against them and sends for help from the dwarves and Aragon. And before we go any further, I'm going to put a side note. I don't like how they used Elva in this series at all.
Because just about this, she was only blessed like 6 months prior to this, and because of her blessing, she looks like a 4-year-old. She was an
4
infant.
to 6. Yeah, she's 4 to 6 years old.
She looks like that. No, she's only like a year old.
She's not even a year old. She's a couple of months. Because I don't think they actually tell us how old she was whenever she's blessed, but
she was
is
still infant.
swaddled. Yeah, she is an infant. She was a swaddled babe, and now she is at least around appearance-wise 6 years old. speaking with the voice of an adult. But we'll get to that here in a second.
Yeah.
Aragon has a prophetic dream about the coming battle and decides to interrupt his training to aid the Varden in battle. Ormus consents and provides him with numerous gifts to help him, but insists he returns to finish his training after the battle. He journeys with Saphira and Oric to the Varden camp, reuniting with Naswada and Arya and meeting Elva, promising to rid her of his failed blessing and reconciling with Arya. The Varden are then joined by an army of Urgles led by...
Nargashvog.
Thank you, Nargashval, who seek an alliance with them after being freed from Durz's control. Most of this army are Kull, by the way. It just says Urgles,
They
but a good
big
chunk
ass
of them
fucks.
As the battle begins, it goes poorly for the massively outnumbered Varden. Roran and the dwarves arrive mid-battle and begin to turn the tide in the favor of the Varden, but an unknown dragon rider unexpectedly arrives and kills Hrothgar. You bastard. Aragon engages the rider, who proves an even match and unmasks him, revealing him to be Murtagh. Dun dun dun. Murtagh reveals he was kidnapped by the twins who had betrayed the Varden. After the dragon, he named Thorn, had hatched for him, they were both forced into swearing loyalty by Galbatorix in the ancient language, binding them to his will. Meanwhile, the battle proceeds with the twins revealing themselves and causing massive losses among the Varden until Roran kills them.
Roran smashes their heads in with his hammer.
Roran is just so very fucking OP in this series, and I don't think it's ever... Like, if this man had ever become a fucking dragon rider, spoiler, he doesn't, but had he ever become a fucking dragon rider, this man would have been a force. This man would have been a fucking force.
But we'll talk about that with other books because we get more of his feats later on.
Correct.
But by the end of this...
Jesus. This man is just OP.
Yeah.
Murtagh and Aragon resume their fight, with Murtagh easily defeating Aragon through magic. He shows mercy to him on account of their old friendship, but takes Aragon's sword, Zrock, which he claims to be an inheritance, revealing that he and Aragon are brothers, making Aragon a son of Morzin, the first of the traitorous riders known as the Forsworn, who was later killed by Brom.
And this fucks
Ultimately, yeah, just Luke, I am your father shit. Ultimately, the Varden win the battle. The book ends as Roran asks Aragon for help in rescuing Katrina, to which he agrees. Now, this summary, for the most part, gets it pretty much. A lot of the stuff that it skips over is a lot of the training stuff that we get from Ormus.
It skips a lot of the training, and it skips a lot of the travel for Roran.
Yeah.
But this was the first one that started back and forth on different perspectives.
It is a dual POV between Aragon and Roran.
And occasionally Naswada.
Yeah, and we
have three different point of views throughout this book. Because we have Aragon, Roran, and Naswada.
It's not dual. I can't think of of the word for three for that. Maybe? Yeah, probably. But we're able to see kind of a little bit more of the insides of what's going on outside of just Aragon's story, because we do get that scene with Naswada where she's talking about, all right, well, how are we going to fucking fund the Varden? Oh wait, let's just magically make lace because it's not super labor intensive and we can just make
sell it for cheap and make a lot of money because all the rich people want to have lace to look good in their courts.
Yeah, like she essentially fucks up the economy for lace a little bit because she's just mass producing lace and is outselling the Varden's lace makers. Or not even the Vardens,
not the Surdens.
Yeah, she's outselling the Surdens lace makers and pissing
King
off
Orn actually confronts her about it. It's like, well, you told me I had to find a way to make money for ourselves.
It's like, well, you weren't gonna fund us. I had to do something.
Naswada is such a fun character.
I love her.
But back to the beginning of the second book for this. So we have, after the big battle, Aragon wakes up, what is it, almost 3 days later? I think it said. It's like 3 days he was passed out after the fight with Durza.
Yeah, he was out for a bit. And that's when he finds out from, I'm pretty sure it was Angela that healed him. He finds out that he has the giant ass fucking scar on his back. We don't find out until book 2 that he actually can't do a whole lot of anything with it because of the seizures. We just find
learn
out
about
the
halfway through book 2 for the seizures, because it's while he's training.
No, it's not while he's training. That's the first time we see one, but it's mentioned very early on in book 2, like at the beginning, because he's walking around essentially what was the battlefield, but he's not doing anything to help because he can't. And he feels like shit about it. He's like, I want to be helpful, but I literally can't pick up any bodies
or else I have a fucking seizure.
Yeah. So that it kind of explains why he's just like wandering aimlessly around what was the battlefields, and there's a few little like random things that he's describing about how like the soil is still kind of like soaked with blood in places that soaks through his shoes and shit like that.
This is also where we get the remaining little bits of the Urgal army chasing after Murtagh, the twins, and Ajihad after they were scouting out the tunnels to make sure everything was all good.
Yeah, as they are returning, everyone's super happy and all that jazz, and then the Urgals just like up and get them.
Yeah.
They kill.
So Ajihad is actually killed in view. We see that Murtagh and the twins are assumed dead because all we find are scraps of clothing.
Yeah, they disappear, but we assume that they're dead because we find a bloodied shirt of Murtagh, and then we just think that he's thrown down at the bottom of a cliff, kind of thing.
Because there's a whole thing of Eragon tries to scry them. He can't see anything.
Yeah,
which, first of all, should be a little bit of a hint off, because he knows Murtagh well. You should be able to still see the body even if dead.
I mean, if it's dark, maybe not.
But after that, we have a whole little series of trying to figure out who will be the next leader of the Varden. And we have...
That's a whole thing.
The Council of Elders.
Yeah, which has Jormungandr on it, but also like a whole bunch of people that are really snooty and really snobby, and it's essentially told, but not outright. No, it is outright told. Essentially, it's shown that these folks are trying to get someone that they can put under their thumbs. Yeah, they want someone that they can manipulate, and
even to the fact of trying to get Eragon to swear fealty to them.
Yep.
In front of everybody.
Because if they have him on their side, well, then they are going to be pretty much unstoppable. They choose Naswada, one because she's Ajihad's heir, but also because she's young and they think that they're going to be able to control her. Haha, bitch, you thought.
They can't.
She has made it abundantly clear in this story that she is not about to be someone that can be manipulated or controlled or anything like that.
And Eragon decides to spite the Council of Elders that he will swear fealty to Naswada.
Yep, so he directly swears fealty to her, making her his... is it Liege Lord? Is that the term for it?
Yeah, she is his Liege Lord.
Yeah. So that fucks over the Council of Elders, gives her a lot of power now.
Basically, everybody looks at her with a huge ton of respect because the only free dragon rider has just pledged his loyalty to our new, basically, queen of the Varden.
Yep. So that takes a good couple of chapters to do because they're having to do a whole lot of back and forth.
After that, we get Eragon going to the Forest of the Elves, Dueldon Varden, and Naswada starting her plans to go to Serta. Then we get our first glimpse of Roran since the first book, which is him basically dealing with the death of his father and talking with all of the villagers when suddenly the Razak and a bunch of Galbatoric soldiers show up to apprehend Roran, to use him as a ploy to get Eragon to switch sides.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's this book or if it's a later book, but it's essentially stated that Galbatorix can't do anything to Aragon directly because of Saphira. If anything happens to Aragon, Saphira is essentially fucked. She dies. But because of this, she is the only she's the last female dragon.
Yeah.
And so obviously we need her.
If she dies, we can't repopulate.
Yeah, Galbatorix can't do shit to Aragon without.
And it is regularly shown in the battles is that he is unwilling to have Aragon die. He will go out of his ways to make sure Aragon lives. He might be injured to the point of not being able to do anything for a while, but he's going to be alive.
And I'm just... we're gonna be getting into how fucking aggravated I am by Galbatorix as a character, because this man hits every single one of the fucking evil villain tropes. Like, you had so many opportunities to kill your fucking enemies and you just didn't, but we'll get to that too.
So after with this, Roran goes hiding in the spine to try and wait out the soldiers. They eventually start a fire in the town because they get drunk. Roran comes down and decides, I'm going to confront these guys. And then we reinforce Carvajal, have a big fight. We seemingly drive back the soldiers. Roran proposes to Katrina and alienates Sloane because Katrina chooses him over Sloane. And then we have the whole thing of her getting kidnapped by the Razak and Sloane being a betrayer. And then it skips back to Aragon and Aswada for a while.
I will say something that does kind of come up as a small little point. One of the characters is eaten by the Razaks. He's taken and eaten, and that starts a not quite full-on blood feud between Birgit and Roran.
Birgit says eventually she will have her due for the pain that Roran's family has caused to her.
Yeah.
That is a thing that is
quite literally out for blood.
It is a thing that is perpetual through the rest of the books, and it is mentioned multiple times because she always has this look of, I'm gonna get you, but I'm following you because you know what you're doing.
Yep. Like, I don't fucking like you. I don't like what you did to my family. Fuck you in particular. But you're also gonna make sure that me and my son live, so fine, whatever. So this woman is very reluctantly following this man into battle. Literally into battle.
Roran proves that he is able to command people, which for just out of nowhere farmer to have this much of a pull, we have technically yet another kind of chosen one arc here.
Yeah, honestly, kinda. This man is probably the closest thing we get to a Gary Stu in the story. If I had to, because we at least
that reference.
It's the male version of a Mary Sue.
Okay.
But we get a lot of the struggles for Aragon where he is trying to do the training, and we do see him do the work for it, whereas his cousin is just like naturally good at all of this shit.
He's a natural born strategist. He's shockingly strong.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody looks up to him.
Good endurance. Yeah. Like this punk ass, if you think about it, this punk ass 18-year-old to 20-year-old kid. But yeah, sure, you're going to be the one that leads the village to safety, even though you're the one you're the reason why why they're here.
And everybody just decides to go with him because of all the feats he's shown fighting these soldiers. Like, I think there's only 6 or 7 that stay behind in Carvajal when the rest of the village goes with him.
Yeah, a vast majority of the village, which they don't tell us how. No, wait, they do. There's like 300 people.
Yeah, he has like 200 something follow him out of the village through the spine to get to Serta.
Yeah, and he gets most of them the fuck there.
I don't think he actually loses more than like maybe 10 or 15 people.
I will say, at least at the beginning, Horse does a lot of that because Horse trusts him. He I guess something about him. He's just like, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing.
Horst
I'm gonna.
has always known Aragon's family as being strong and loyal.
Yeah, very strong-willed, very hard-headed. They're gonna be. I guess he realizes that he's gonna be our best bet to get the fuck out of here alive. So Horst, the blacksmith, leaving most of his shit behind, says, "I'm gonna follow this kid."
With his wife that is pregnant, by the way.
Yeah, pregnant with their third child. They're just like gonna up and leave with their other two sons. So we have a lot of training, we have a lot of traveling. There's a whole bunch of montages. Honestly.
This one has a lot of what I would consider filler to it, which is fine.
Yeah, and honestly kind of needed, because you can't go from just like major battle to major battle and not have proof that the character is training and learning and growing, because
it has very
unrealistic.
good pacing, in my opinion, between each of the stories.
It definitely does.
Because we have, especially with Roran through this one, he seems to have a lot more of the growth than even Aragon does, where we go from the simple farmer to a warrior, and he counts up until mostly book 3, every single death he's had, including ones where I only did it because I had to.
Yeah. And that is something that he does definitely struggle with, is killing in general. Even as it gets to the later points where his kill count is up in the hundreds, he's just like, I don't like fucking doing this.
He gets to the point where he's like, what am I if I'm not doing this? Because it's all he's known for the months that's been going on. And he has an existential crisis, basically, at one point.
He does, and I wish that they'd gone a little bit. I wish that Paolini would have gone a little bit more into the potential PTSD that he and Aragon would be facing after going through all of this. I feel like he does a little bit with Murtagh, but I'm gonna have to go back to that one.
The book does have a lot of PTSD stuff for him and Thorn, but that's not what we're covering in this group here.
Yeah, but still, that makes fucking sense. They escape from the village. Aragon's doing a lot of training. Aragon gets healed by this once every 100 years magical ritual
the
thing.
Agadi Bladron.
Yeah. So he's now pretty much a half elf, half human.
It was almost an instant change to his physical features.
Yeah. I guess he still somewhat looks enough like him that people can kind of recognize him if they know him well enough.
But it throws a lot of the villagers off whenever he meets back with the Carvajal people.
Yeah. Funny thing is, whenever we see Sloane again, like, he doesn't even, like, at the very, very end, he doesn't even remark on it. He's too busy. But, we'll get to that. We eventually get to what is the Battle of the Burning Plains, which is where Murtagh shows back up, now a dragon rider with his dragon Thorn, who has been magically size altered, basically. Like, his growth was expedited. Poor thing. Like, he's only a couple of months old with this fight. He should not be as big as he is. Galbatorix is essentially forcing him to grow larger so that he can be ready to fight Saphira. And I think it's to the point where he is almost her size, or roughly.
It is with the Battle of the Burning Plains. I think it's mentioned like he's 2/3 her size.
Yeah, so he is forcing this poor baby to grow quickly.
Yeah, like it's at a point where even there's little mentions of touching his mind, which doesn't happen often, but you can tell he's like super confused about what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, because again, baby.
Yes, because at least at this point, Saphira's probably about a year, maybe a little bit more. Because they spent a couple of months at Dueldenvarden doing all the training.
I think it's safe to say that Saphira would be a year old, yeah. So she's, and I don't think it's ever told to us how old a dragon has to be before they're considered fully grown. I want to say it's probably sometime around when they can first start breathing fire, which is
It's-
6 months.
Yeah, it's mentioned 6 months to start breathing fire, and that's when they're considered, I think, adolescent at that point.
Okay, so she's roughly going to be an adult by probably the end of book 2.
Yeah, she's adultish, basically adult by the end of book 3 is. And she's seen
Yeah.
a whole lot more than most dragons would have. Like, it's even mentioned by Glader that she has such a good upbringing because she was in the wild for a little bit whenever she was first growing up, because Aragon hid her out there. She hunted for herself. She learned to fly on her own. Unlike a lot of the dragons that were raised by the riders, they were trained from the beginning on this. So she has better
Yeah.
natural instincts.
Which comes in handy.
It does.
So we get the big reveal that the twins and Murtagh aren't actually dead. They kidnapped him. They're in league with Galbatorix.
The twins are the
Murtagh-
reason why the Urgles were even able to get into
Yeah.
Farthendur. I was forgetting the name of the place. Like, they had left open little tunnels and little notes of, hey, come this way.
Yeah, and they are it's pretty much shown that they are very much in the battle. They were pretty much shirking their responsibility, trying to fuck over the Varden, trying to pretty much do whatever
They
they
were
could
actively trying to get Aragon worn out so that he could be captured, because they were sending him here and there constantly.
Yeah. But we have the big reveal on the Burning Plains. Murtagh actually uses a bit of a loophole in what Galbatorix ordered him to say, I fought you, I tried, oh well, and fucks off.
And he gets punished for that, as we find out.
Yeah. But he takes the sword and
Makes
They
a
have the
big
big reveal.
reveal about we're brothers, and
Yep.
Aragon
And-
suddenly has another existential crisis because, oh fuck.
why didn't Braun tell me? It's like, no, honey.
Calm down, child.
Yeah, that's like whole existential crisis. This poor baby.
And because Zarek is taken, we have a whole thing in book 3 of, I need a weapon. Gets a weapon.
I need a
It
sword.
breaks. It breaks.
It
Or
breaks.
he loses it. And
Yeah. But we have the reconciliation between him and his cousin. His cousin, pretty much up until this point, had been fighting with himself on how he felt about Aragon. It's like,
because Aragon
It's
was
your-
the reason why my father died, but
yeah, it's your fault. It's your fault. I blame you. Because of this, you're gonna help me get Katrina. And so,
Ba-
and
like, you're
now-
gonna pay me back by saving my fiance.
And so now we have book 3.
Brissinger.
No. I'm gonna get more water for this. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Plus not-
next time we do anything for big books like this, I feel like it's going to be each individual book gets its own recording.
Probably, but it's fine. All right. Aragon, Spear, and Roran travel to Helgrind, the home of the Rozaks. They rescue Roran's betrothed Katrina. You had to word it like that? Held prisoner there and kill one of the Rozaks. Saphira, Roran, and Katrina return to the Varden while Aragon stays behind. Aragon slays the remaining Rozak, who warns him that Galbatorix has discovered the name. Aragon also finds and condemns Sloane, Katrina's treacherous father, to never meet his daughter again and arranges for him to travel to Elismira, the elven homeland.
His eyes have been eaten.
I was about to say, yeah, it isn't mentioned here, but the man's blind. Aragon then travels back to the Varden after reuniting with Arya, who had come in search of him because he sends Saphira on, stays behind, and they have to travel a couple of days, and Saphira is very much not fucking happy.
Saphira never likes whenever they're separated for more than a couple of hours.
Because again, shit always fucking happens to this man.
Anytime that Aragon is not with Saphira, danger.
Yeah,
He is a danger
this-
magnet.
he really is. The man gets
Oh,
caught
it's
by the
right
fucking
there.
Razaks. Reuniting with Arya, who had come in search for him. Once they return to the Varden, Aragon discovers that Katrina is pregnant. Gasp. Thank you for specifying that it's a Thorin's child and a wedding is arranged, which Aragon is to conduct.
He's
Just
supposed to be
before it
officiate
begins-
for it, which is fascinating.
Yeah. Like, I guess you don't have to have any kind of religious thing, which religion isn't a super big thing in these stories, at
It's
least for the human.
mentioned. It is mentioned that each one has their own beliefs, and Aragon goes through these little things of what should I believe in?
Like, he ends up, I think, praying to one of the dwarven gods a couple of times. Humans, for the most part, don't really have a big belief system, and elves are just,
Elves
They
don't
don't
have
believe-
gods; they worship nature.
yeah, they are very much druids. They kind of scoff at the idea of religion, which honestly gets them on odds with the dwarves a lot. I'm pretty sure the Urgles also have a religion,
Urgles
it's
do have
very-
religion as well.
but it's only very briefly mentioned.
We actually get
the-
more of it in Murtag, so I like that.
Ooh, something for me to look forward to. Let's see. Child wedding. Just before it begins, a small force of troops attack alongside Murtag and his dragon Thorn. The soldiers had spells cast on them that had removed their ability to feel pain, making them better fighters. That is debatable.
The Laughing
spell
Dead,
cast-
as they were called.
Yeah, which is really fucking creepy. Elven spellcasters aid Aragon and Saphira and cause Murtag and Thorn to flee, winning the battle. After the fight, they get married. Roran and Katrina get married. The leader of the Varden Naswada orders Aragon to attend the election of the new dwarf king in the Bior Mountains, while Saphira stays behind to protect the Varden. Aragon is to support the bid for Oric, the former king's adoptive son who favors the Varden. Aragon heads to Farthendur, where the election takes place. Once there, Aragon is the target of an assassination attempt perpetrated by a rider-hating dwarf clan. Thank you for not putting the name in it, because I would have struggled.
Which we
Oric
never hear
forces-
about, actually, after that.
Well, because Oric exiles them.
Yeah, but
Um,
you'd think that something would come from that, but nothing ever did.
And, I mean, enough other shit happened. Paolini was just like, exile's good enough. They actually listen. This is fine. Having earned the sympathies of the other dwarves, Oric is elected the new king. Saphira journeys to Farthendur for Oric's coronation and repairs Isidar Mithram, the previously destroyed Star Rose.
Which they say it actually gets repaired and looks even more beautiful than it was originally, and she gets her name inscribed in the bottom of it.
Yeah, they honor her as part of the creator for it, which I just thought was so fucking sweet. After Oric's coronation, Aragon and Saphira journey to Elismira to learn the secret of Galbatorix's power. There they learned that Aragon's deceased mentor Braum was Aragon's father, and not the forsworn Morzan as Murtag had thought, though they both share the same mother. Selena, it's not mentioned here, but I'm gonna say her
Yeah,
name.
power's flickered.
Uh-oh. Did it fuck up the recording? Or
No, the recording is okay.
is it raining there?
Oh yeah, it's pouring.
Be safe.
We're okay for now, though.
Okay. If we get to Brissinger and this motherfucker dies. Glader also reveals the source of Galbatorix's power, the Elendari.
Eldenari. There you go.
Jesus Christ, Bella. A dragon organ which allows its holder to communicate with and draw energy from the dragon it belongs to, even if the dragon is deceased. Galbatorix spent years collecting Eldenari, drawing his power from the dragons he slew. After some training, Aragon visits Runan. Ronan? How do you pronounce her name?
Elder Runan?
Runan.
The blacksmith elf, right? I think it's Runan.
It is, I think you're right. Aragon visits Runan, the elven blacksmith who forged swords for the riders. Runan refuses to forge Aragon a new sword, having sworn to never create a weapon again and having depleted her stock of the required metal. By deciphering the Weircat Solumbum's instructions, Aragon acquires the metal from under the roots of the Manoa tree. Runan forges him a sword by controlling Aragon's body, and he names it Brissinger, which causes it to burst into flames whenever its name is said aloud, which becomes a point of stress for this man. Ormus and Glader decide to join the battle against the Empire alongside Islanzadi, Arya's mother and the Queen of the Elves. I don't think that's been mentioned yet. To prevent Galbatorix from claiming his Uldanari should he fall in combat, and to continue guiding Aragon, Glader gives his Uldanari to Aragon. Glader and Ormus fly into Gilead, while Aragon and Saphira fly to Finster, a city sieged by the Varden.
I think it was pronounced Feinster by
Meanwhile-
the audiobook.
I think you might be right. Feinster. Meanwhile, Roran is sent on various missions as a soldier of the Varden, one mission against soldiers that can't feel pain, resulting in many casualties, and in Roran being assigned to an incompetent commander. I am struggle bussing here. During another mission, his commander almost causes the entire force to be decimated. Roran takes charge of a small group of soldiers loyal to him and leads them to victory against overwhelming odds.
Insubordination,
Despite-
basically.
Pretty much. This is where it's mentioned where he defeats almost 200 people. So we have reached the kill count into hundreds at this point. Despite this, Roran is charged with insubordination and is flogged as punishment. Afterwards, Naswada promotes Roran to commander and sends his unit on a mission with both men and Urgles to enforce the idea of men and Urgles working together. When an Urgle, Yarbog, challenges Roran for leadership of the unit, he wrestles him into submission. After returning to the Varden, his squad joins the siege in Feinster. That's a period, not a comma.
Yeah.
His squad joins the siege in Feinster. As the siege begins, Aragon rescues Arya and departs to find the leader of the city, but discovers 3 magicians attempting to create a shade. While attempting to kill the magicians, Aragon has a vision through Glader's Uldanari, showing him and Ormus fighting Murtagh and Thorn in the sky. During the fight, Galbatorix takes control of Murtagh and tries to lure Ormus to his side. Failing to do so, he slays Ormus as he suffers a seizure. Glader, in his grief, is also killed. After the vision, the magicians succeed in creating the shade Varug?
I don't remember how it's pronounced. It's not important. He's killed in the same chapter.
I was about to say, 2 sentences later, this man dies. Aragon and Arya fight and slay him, Arya dealing the fatal blow. After the successful siege, Aragon resolves to continue the fight against the Empire to avenge Ormus and Glader.
And that's
I
how
can't really
book
think of any-
3 ends, I think.
Yeah, I can't really. That is how it ends. I can't really think of anything that we really need to add here.
No,
this
that
one-
was a pretty decent
Yeah, this one kind of went
summary
over
for
all
it.
of the big points.
The only thing that should be mentioned, the very beginning where they're attacking the Razak,
Helpline.
there's a couple
Oh.
of things there that we see basically a cult that worships the Razak, where their entire
Yeah.
thing is dismembering themselves in honor of the Razak. Like the leader of this has no
It's even-
limbs, he's missing all of his teeth and part of his tongue.
Yeah, it's really fucky. I would also mention that they left out every bit of Angela being in this book, which how fucking dare they? Because she,
Angela
She's not
plays a
within
very
the-
big part. They also left out Elva.
yeah,
Because this
Elva also
it was in
plays a
this
really
book
big part.
where Aragon tries to correct his accidental curse.
yeah, and Elva, he doesn't remove it.
He
But
makes it
he
to where she's
does-
not forced to go and protect people. Because part
Yeah,
of his
so
curse
she
was she
can-
is forced to go and protect people. Now she can ignore their pain and not feel sick from it.
Yeah, she
She still
can
feels it.
choose
She can
to
still
help if
see
she
when someone's
wants.
going to die or what's affecting them and making them feel miserable. But she can ignore it.
Yeah, which she's fucking fine and dandy with, so good for her.
Because she actually tells him to stop because he wants to try and remove the entire thing, and then he realizes, oh shit, I might have made even more of a monster.
Yeah. Honestly, I would love to see more of Elva in the future, just because I feel like she is going to be a very fascinating character.
She will be. Roran here has a lot of story time because that's where he's learning to be part of the
Yeah.
army and rising up to basically a commander. And we have
Yeah,
this huge thing in the
we-
middle where he solo fights, I think it's at 187 people. He kills
197.
197.
He is very close to that 200.
Yeah, he does this by himself. Yes, he has some wards, but those wear out before he's done with this.
Yeah. So this man again is very OP, but this, now that you mention it, this book is pretty much concentrating on him, which isn't a bad thing because we are able to see a little bit more of what the Varden is doing and what he is doing to help them and how it's going to affect the overall thing that's happening.
Like, we have a pretty even split between Roran and Murtag, or not Murtag, Aragon. Damn it. But Roran has a lot more action to his, whereas Aragon's is exploration and learning.
Yep.
One of the things that they didn't mention, first of all, the metal that's needed to make rider swords is bright steel, which is basically metal from a meteorite.
Yeah, it's pretty much the rarest metal, or one of the rarest metals, and it's the bit that they find under the roots of the Manoa tree, which they really glossed over that too, is enough to make a few swords.
I think she said almost an entire retinue, so 10 or more for riders. It was a good chunk.
It was a fairly good chunk. However,
the Manoa tree's not very happy with Aragon and Saphira.
They glossed over what is arguably a fairly big point, because the Manoa tree...
We're explained in book 2 that the Manoa tree is alive. A much ancient... An elf fused herself with the tree.
Yeah. And so...
With trying to communicate with the tree to get the bright steel from the roots, the tree just ignores them, basically. It's like, oh, it's nothing important at all. Until Saphira goes to start burning the tree.
Yeah. And so the tree decides, fuck this, and attacks them back, which, valid. So they come to an agreement that the Manoa tree is going to take something from Aragon, but it isn't stated what it is.
It's never cleared at all in anything.
Yeah.
The only thing that we get to this is there's some kind of energy taken from Aragon that is mentioned.
Yeah,
but we don't know what it is.
Tired. It's never verified. It's never mentioned. We don't know. There is plenty of speculation online. Some people think that she took his ability to put down roots, essentially, and settle down, dooming him to always feel the need to travel.
Which, that's actually part of the prophecy from Angela, is he won't stay in Alagasia.
Yeah, he will be doomed to leave Alagasia. Now, it doesn't say whether or not he's going to stay wherever the fuck he ends up. He's just going to be doomed to leave, forced to leave, which is something that happens while he's fighting the Razak. Is the last remaining...
They also cast the same curse on him, basically.
Yeah, they ask him to carry on their legacy, mention us to people so that we're not forgotten type shit. But he's just like, no, fuck you. And so the Razak says, all right, fuck you, you're not going to be able to stay in your home, and it kind of shit.
Yeah, so which he's actually told that curse 3 separate times.
Yeah, he gets cursed that a couple of times. Just like, fuck you, I hope you never find happiness in your home. He's like, well, fuck.
But the Brisingr, it's not filler. It shows a lot of the war and leading up to, I think this book only takes place over maybe 2-ish months, if that.
Yeah, this one is kind of, it's like you said, it's not filler, because a lot of the stuff that's happening in this book is important to the overall story, but plot-wise, not a lot of big plot points happen, other than the reveal that Braum is actually Aragon's father. Aragon gets a new sword.
Ooh, this one had Nasawada in the Trial of the Long Knives.
Yes, it did. Something that was also not mentioned in this was Nasawada's people, the Surdans, have this thing that they
was part of, her lineage was a group of nomadic tribes.
I thought she was part Surdan.
No, it was a big series of the nomadic tribes that her lineage is basically too. And they come in to try and basically usurp her from leader of the Varden and take over it themselves, because they think she's not leading it well, and they all have a bunch of money, so I think they can just flaunt themselves. So she challenges she gets challenged to what is called the Trial of the Long Knives, where basically really, really sharp ass knives, and you just keep on cutting up your arms
Yeah.
until one of them gives up.
The idea is that you're just supposed to do like gentle slices and stuff like that, not like too deep where you could potentially fuck something up or die. But
it's
as
the whole
you go,
constitution of forcing yourself to cut yourself. How long will your nerves last?
yep. And how long are you going to be good until you just fuck up all of your muscles and accidentally cut too deep, kind of thing? Which I'm pretty sure does happen to one of them. I don't know if that's her or the
She
guy that
doesn't fuck
challenged
hers
her.
up, but she does have where she accidentally tenses and it leaves a much longer and more jagged one on her.
Yeah.
But this is one of the things where Elva shows how scary she can be, because
Yeah.
she's able to predict the pain within 3-4 minutes of it happening, I think.
Mhm.
And she told Naswada, "Oh, you're gonna get through this just fine. You'll be the winner." When actually she had seen that she was gonna lose.
Yeah. So Elva is just like, I'm just gonna tell you what you need to hear, because if I tell you, yeah, you're gonna be fine, then you're probably gonna win.
And
What?
Naswada ended up with a total of 14
9?
cuts. 14.
Was it 14?
She had 6 on one arm and 8 on the other.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
And which I'm pretty sure is considered the most out of
No one has
that was
ever
doing
made that
sound.
many, because her opponent had scars from doing it previously, and it was only a total of 8 that he had.
Yeah.
And he's done it,
Oh.
I think they said 5-6 times before this, so he's a veteran of it.
Something I forgot to mention, this book was published in 2008 and it's 831 pages.
Fucking
Oops.
thick. But yeah, no, Nasawada shows so much conviction for her cause here.
Mm-hmm. We do see a lot of growth in Naswada as a character, which I love. But again, it's the whole using Elva thing, which
that's a big part of her thing after realizing Elva's powers is, I'm keeping you by me to let me know if somebody's going to try and kill me. And
which
possibly sacrifice you to live.
Yeah, which after Aragon gets rid of the little blessing thing, or the impulse, like the impulsiveness of the blushing where she has to stop it, it's a little bit better, because then she can choose not to stand in the way of something happening.
Yeah.
Which is, nice. Think that pretty much covers everything in Brissinger.
The only thing else is the final battle that they have, which was Drosleona? Was that Drosleona this one, or was it?
No, Drosleona was an inheritance. This one was
Feinster, wasn't it?
Yeah, this one was Feinster.
He likes to show off a little bit with that flaming sword at the end of this.
Some of it's intentional, some of it is really this man forgetting that every time he says fucking Brissinger, this bitch is gonna catch
the most basic spell for fire.
Yeah. The one, his first ever spell, the one that he uses entirely too much. Just can't say the name of his sword ever.
Yeah, because he had to actively change what magic he used to make a weird light so he could see in dark places, because his sword was named Brissinger.
Just use the sword, it's fine. But giant torch.
Yeah, no, that's mostly, this book focused a lot on Roran.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Inner workings of the army and all of the stuff that's happening in the background, and just gearing up to what is going to be the 4th book, because in the defense of this book originally was supposed to be combined with Inheritance, but it got to be too big. So Paolini, instead of cutting out a lot of stuff, potentially making the story suffer, said, fuck it, I'm just going to split them in half, which is why this one feels like, yeah, we get a few big plot reveals. It's not, like Kitty says, it's not filler, but it's not a lot. It doesn't feel like a lot in that 800 pages. Oh, we get the thing with Auric and the dwarves. We get
Which
a
the whole
fucking
proceeding of the selecting the new king for the dwarves, nerve-wracking as fuck.
so stressful. Especially if it's your first time reading it, it's so stressful. But I will say this: something that I enjoyed about these books is the interworking of, like, it's the politics of it, and just how everyone is trying to essentially come out on top.
We also see how the king of Serta devolves a lot. Because when we first meet him in Eldest, he's this experimenting kind of guy who likes physics and alchemy and things like that, and he's really
He's a
happy-go-lucky.
Mhm.
And then as we get through more of the war, he becomes extremely cynical. Like, we're the ones that have funded most of this. We've had so many of our people die to this.
He also becomes very dependent on alcohol. Like, it's mentioned a couple of times that this man
You always see
starts
him with a
drinking-
glass of wine or something whenever he's in a
he
meeting.
starts drinking heavily, which obviously valid because you're fighting in a fucking war and all your people are dying. But also, one of his close friends dies, and he takes it kind of hard.
He takes it out on Aswada.
Well, I'm sorry, this man needs therapy. Team
Everybody needs therapy in this.
Fucking everybody needs therapy.
But we have another fight against Murtagh at the end with the Bloodgarm and his elves as well, helping in the middle with a fight against Murtagh, scaring him off. Then we have Gilead when the elves are capturing the city, not taking over, to free it from Galbatorix. Murtagh is controlled by Galbatorix, like actively takes over his mind and makes him move. So that's a scary fucking thing.
It is, because I don't imagine that it was fun for anyone involved.
No.
Except for probably, I don't think he gave a shit.
No, he didn't give a shit. But takes advantage of Oramus having one of his seizures from the accident that made him crippled. He called himself the crippled butthole for a reason.
Yep.
And because of that, Glader goes mad, tries to attack, and gets his head cut off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's more gone into in book 4, but for a while, Glader goes into a deep depression, which
Glader inside his Eldunari, when they kept trying to touch his mind, it was just a storm.
You couldn't reach him. He was gone.
We didn't actually hear from him again until a solid quarter of the way through book 4.
Yeah, and even then it was just bits and pieces until he finally I guess processed it enough or worked through enough or got
We'll talk about
off.
it when we get into the book itself, but there is one specific character that pissed him off enough to make him come out of his shell.
Well, anger and spite will do a lot.
It does. But on to inheritance here.
Yes. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Okay. And so I don't forget, until we were halfway through this book was published in 2011. It was
hadn't even graduated high school yet.
Oh, don't fucking tell me that. Again, Paolini announces in 07 that the third book is going to be split in 2 because it's just too fucking long. So
it was going to be a trilogy, then it became
a cycle.
Tetralogy.
Sure.
That's the term for 4.
I'm just gonna stick with cycle. But he announces back in 07 that this book is gonna be a chonky boy, a book 3. So he's just gonna split book 3 into 2 books, and we're gonna have a 4th one. The 4th one came out, like I said, 2011. It is the biggest one at 860 pages.
It's not too much bigger than Brisingr, but it is still bigger.
It is. So again, these books are thick.
Even sped up listening to these, Inheritance was
I listened to this
26 hours.
I listened to this time and a half.
Were you up to 1.5?
Yes, I was doing 1.5.
Oh,
and it was
jeez.
still It was still fast enough that I could follow it fairly well, but when
That's
it got
the
to
ADHD.
do what?
That's the ADHD.
Yeah. Well, it got to the point where there was something that I had to go back and listen to, so I rewound it and I slowed it down to normal time, and he was in normal speed. He was reading so slow, I was like, this is gonna fucking bother me.
There's a reason why now that I've gotten used to 1.3 speed, I do not do any books slower than that because it just feels ugh.
See, I can't do that with Dungeon Crawler Carl because way too much fucking shit happens, but that's a whole different thing. Anyways, Inheritance. The Varden attacked the Empire city of Bellatona. In the battle, Saphira, Aragon's dragon. Why are we specifying that? Okay.
Whatever.
Saphira is nearly killed by the spear thing. Dalthadari?
Douth Dart.
Sure. Death Dart, I think, is literally what it translates to. Well, it's supposed to be named after a flower, but anyway. A spear from the Dragon Wars that can bypass magical wards and kill dragons. Bellatona is captured by the Varden, and an alliance is later formed between the Varden and the Weircats.
Weircat Army!
Yes. Which is so amazing. Afterwards, Aragon's cousin Roran is... Wait. Hold on.
Eros?
No. It is Eros. But was it book 3 that Hope was born, or was she born in book 4?
Who? The child for Horst?
Yeah, Horst and Elaine's baby.
It was book 3. Hope was born in book 3 at the end, I think.
Alright, well, Horst and Elaine had the very heavily pregnant woman that was fleeing Carvajal with everybody. She had her kid. That was not even mentioned, and I forgot. Aragon had to heal her.
She had a cleft lip, which for most families, the child would be abandoned or killed because of that. Because
I don't even think she would be killed. It's just that she wouldn't be able to eat, so she would starve.
Yeah.
I don't think to actively kill the kid, but
and Aragon had to have one of the people from the village watching him heal her through the night because otherwise people would be like, changeling, it's not the real child, and it's like, you replaced our child. No, I didn't.
No, I actually helped you. But that was a thing in book 3 that happened that wasn't even mentioned. Okay.
We forgot about it.
Yeah, we did. Sorry, Hope. Afterwards, Aragon's cousin Roran is sent on a mission to capture Aros. Which he's... Aros. Just unnecessary fucking G's in places. He succeeds in using unconventional tactics. Roran rejoins the Varden at Drasleona, which proves difficult to take.
Unusual tactics. That's so descriptive of what he actually did.
I'm trying to remember what he actually did. Oh, he fooled them into thinking... Like, at one point, he fooled them into thinking that...
There's multiple things he did there, and we'll cover it.
Yeah, this man is... This is where he proves that he's a really good strategist. Rejoins the Varden at Drasleona, which proves difficult to take, as it is under protection by Murtagh and his dragon Thorn. Jode finds... Oh, pardon. Sorry. Burp. Jode finds information about a possible entrance to the city via an incomplete sewer system under it. Aragon... Yeah, let's go stomping in poop. Aragon,
no, I'm just remembering that whole sequence there.
It's a lot of fun. Aragon, Arya, Angela, the Weircat Solumbum, and an elf named Weirden. Enter the... Weirden. It's okay, he doesn't last long. Enter the sewer system to sneak into the city and open the gates. However, the mission goes awry as the tunnels are used by the priests of Helgrind, who separate the...
The Discord stopped for a second, so it's like, what?
Uh-oh.
No, we're good.
What part did it...
No, it continued, but for some reason I had a little pause in between you saying the tunnel stuff. Like, it goes horribly, pause, awry. It's like, the fuck?
There's no fucking telling.
But no, it goes bad in those sewers.
It is, yeah. They go through it, folks. Separate the group, slay Weirden, and capture Aragon and Arya. The priests worship the Razaks and attempt to feed Aragon and Arya to Razak hatchlings, although Angela and Solumbum save them. This is why we fucking love Angela.
Angela has so much in this book.
fucking love Angela, which is good because she's one of the best characters. Eragon is then able to open the city gates and defeat Murtagh and Thorn, allowing the Varden to take the city. As Eragon and Arya become drunk to celebrate their victory, Murtagh and Thorn attack their camp and capture Noswada. In her absence, Eragon is appointed as the leader of the Varden as they marched on to Urbane, the capital of the Empire.
Would have been.
Struggle bustin', do. Eragon, speaking of struggling, Eragon struggles under the weight of the command and recalls Solumbum's previous advice, instructing him to journey to the Rock of Cruthien.
When you are at your lowest point and you don't see a way forward, go to the Rock of Cruthien and open the Vault of Souls.
Just all of these fucking things coming back from book 1. We love to see it. As nobody has knowledge of the rock, he questions Solumbum, discovering that he had given the advice on instinct. During the conversation, Solumbum appears to be possessed, helping Eragon discover that the rock is located on Beauregard Island, previously an island that was lived on by all
the riders.
Yeah. Protected by magic, which causes everyone, barring himself and Saphira, to forget about it upon hearing of it. He informs Arya and Glader of this and decides to journey to Beauregard with Saphira. Glader joins in, and Arya staying behind to maintain an illusion that Eragon has not left. Because this man can't just up and leave. Obviously,
because he's now the leader of the Varden.
Yeah. On the island, Eragon and Saphira find the rock and learn that they must speak their true names to enter the Vault of Souls. Eventually, they find their true names and gain entry. Inside, they find a horde of Aldinari and dragon eggs, which I was so looking forward to Kitty learning this.
That was such a good thing.
It was so good. Hidden before Galbatorix destroyed the riders. Umaroth. The dragon who leads the Aldinari decide to join Eragon to overthrow Galbatorix. They journey to Urbane, under siege by the combined forces of the Varden, the Elves, the Weircats, the Urgles, and the Dwarves. It is quite literally the fucking battle of the 5 armies right now.
Every single race is there to fight this Mad King.
Yep. Eragon reveals the Aldinari to the army's leaders, and they plan their attack. Their
Which I feel like was a mistake to reveal it to Oren, but he would have been so slighted had he not been told.
Man, Oren can just fucking jump off the cliff.
Oren is a child sometimes.
He is. He really is. Their combined forces attack Urbane, while Eragon, Saphira, Arya, Elva, and Elven spellcasters break into Galbatorix's citadel. After overcoming a series of traps and being separated from the spellcasters, they reach the throne room. There, Galbatorix easily subdues them and reveals that he has learned the true name of the ancient language, referring to it as the word. Yeah, referring to it as the word. Do you have a minute to talk about the word of Galbatorix? I don't know.
Whatever.
With it, he is able to control the usage of magic with the ancient language, negating any spoken spells. To amuse himself, he orders Murtagh and Eragon to fight using only their swords. Eragon defeats Murtagh and urges him to join his side. Murtagh, who has developed feelings for Noswada in her captivity, has his true name changed and turns on Galbatorix, using the word to strip him of his wards. Galbatorix incapacitates Murtagh and battles Eragon, while Saphira and Thorn battle his dragon Shuriken, which this is the first time that Shuriken is even mentioned in this entire summary thing that we've been reading out of all the books. With the Aldinari, Eragon casts a spell to make Galbatorix experience the pain and suffering that he has caused, while Arya kills Shuriken with the Death Dart. I'm not gonna try. Not gonna fucking try. Pointed stick.
The enchanted spear.
Pretty much. Overwhelmed with guilt, Galbatorix uses magic to destroy himself and most of the Citadel, although Eragon is able to protect... He goes big boom. Jamie want big boom.
Jamie got big boom.
To heal from their ordeal, Murtagh and Thorn decide to journey far away, teaching Eragon the word before departing. Noswada becomes High Queen of Alagasia, and King Oren of Cirta grudgingly pledges his allegiance to her. Arya returns to Elismira to help choose a new queen for the elves after the death of her mother, Islanzadi, in battle. She takes the remaining dragon egg, which hatches for her. She names the dragon Fiernan, and she's also chosen as the new queen. Eragon realizes that there is no safe place to raise the dragons and train the new riders in Alagasia. He thus decides to sail away with the Eldenari and the eggs to a region far east of Alagasia. Eragon reworks the magic of the pact between the riders and the dragons to allow dwarves and Urkels to become riders, and leaves two eggs. It was a nice little addition. And something that they haven't really mentioned on that, which we'll get to whenever we get to this point, leaves 2 eggs for each of the races. The future riders will travel to Eragon for training, while eggs will be periodically sent back to Alagasia. Eragon and Saphira sadly say their farewells to their friends and family, but look forward to the future. Okay, this one skipped a lot, actually.
It did actually skip a lot there, because we didn't have the entirety of Nasuwada's capture and torture.
Yeah, which is how fucking Murtagh ends up developing feelings for her, but we'll get to that. Alright, I'm having to go back up to the top to figure out where we were gonna start with the whole that bitch.
The capture of Eros. So this is one of Roran's biggest strategic moments. In Brazinger, we had one of his biggest fighting moments, the taking on almost 200 soldiers by himself. Here we have where he shows he is a very good strategist. So he is sent by Nasuwada to try and aid the capture of Aros, because the current commander over there isn't doing a good job.
He's kind of a shit. He's a shitbag.
Nasuwada also gives him a time limit to capture the city. 3 days.
Yep.
So at one point, while they're trying to basically figure out their attack plan, he has a good chunk of the soldiers out cutting down a bunch of trees and things, when a group of horseback riders comes out to confront them. So he has his mage Karn, we love Karn, set up an illusion behind him of just like a little shimmering thing showing that he might be a little bit more powerful than they would think. And he sits there at a table, basically playing a dice game with himself and drinking alcohol, while all of these horseback riders come out and confront him. The leader of them comes down, talks to him, figures out who he is, looks at him like, I don't trust this. And they all just leave. Like, they don't attack at all because of this.
Really sketchy. Which has happened historically in real life. People have done that, and I think that was just like a really cool inclusion.
Yeah, so to actually get into Aros, the strategy that they made was the sluice gates that filter water into the city. They built a bunch of fucking rafts, tied them together, put a bunch of cinder blocks on them, and rammed the shit out of it.
And I also want to say that this one is the one where he had the issue with the other commander that was there. Like,
no, this was not that. That was in the final battle in Urabane.
That was in Urabane? Okay.
Yeah. This one, unfortunately, Karn died.
Not the commander for Galbatorix's forces, the commander for our side, where he was just being a little bitch boy about it.
No, the one that was for Aros, he was reluctant about it, but after the whole thing of them capturing, he's like, okay, sure, you're actually good at this shit. And Roran's actually nice enough, like, I want him to be put back into command because he's a good leader. While I was passed out from a couple of things that happened to me, he led the rest of the forces to finish taking the city.
Yeah. So, which you just know had to piss him off even more. He's like, not only is this man a fucking good sport, but he's also a good fighter, so damn it, I can't even hate him for that.
But yeah, unfortunately in this battle, we lose one of Roran's friends from the Varden, the mage that's been with him the entire time, basically, because he actively requests Karn to come with him on any of these missions because he's a good spellcaster and they've gotten so close.
Yeah.
But Karn goes out in basically a literal blaze of glory when he's fighting another enemy spellcaster. And the way that he kills this spellcaster, he basically dehydrates him until he cowers into dust.
Yep. Which, again,
is scary as
going back to the magic system. Yeah. Going back to the magic system, if you use too much energy, you fucking die. And our man's died.
He died, but he also died because the other mage did a basically he tried to make Karn explode beyond the means that he could, so he would have died anyways. But Karn cast the whole dehydration spell right before he died, and it kept going after he was dead. It kept going after Karn was dead, so this man had no chance.
Yeah, some of the magic and shit that people are able to do in this book is just fucking dark.
It is, but some of it is so cool. So after Aros, they take the whole entire trip back to the Varden. We have the siege of Drosleona, which fucking awesome there. But we had the whole thing of going into the tunnels below. We had Arya, Weirden, Aragon, and Angela with Solomon following going in on this one. So we had a bunch of Angela in this book.
We did get a bunch of Angela in this book, which I was very thankful for. We get to see a little bit of the weapon that Angela uses, which she calls Tinkle Death.
Yeah, I'm not entirely... I love it. I don't remember the actual name for it, but basically it is a type of blade that will cut through anything. And it's not even
what it is made out of.
And it's not even like difficulty cutting through things. If you swing too hard, you'll cut your own leg off going through something else. Yep, which Aragon almost does accidentally.
Cuts through thick ass. Well, what the fuck did he? Was it a whole stone table or something?
Yeah, he cut through a stone table.
Yeah, like it was butter in a hot knife. Like this man almost lost a couple of toes.
But through the sewers to try and infiltrate Drosleona, because they'd been at a standstill there for a week and a half, I think. Weirden is unfortunately killed because he sets off a trap that is a bunch of purple crystals that skewer him. Angela is pulled through a side door along with Solonbum, and we think that they're dead. Luckily, they aren't. And Arya and Aragon are captured by the cultists that worship the Rozak. We find out, there's more eggs of the Rozak throughout the kingdom somewhere, and fuck.
Yep.
They are chained.
I thought we were done with these guys.
Yeah, they are chained up in a field that makes where they can't cast magic without pain happening to them. And Arya, this part was hard to listen to, but she basically rips her hand out of the chains and gets her skin peeled off to do it, to try and free them before Angela shows up and starts breaking all of the crystals so they can free themselves. It was rough.
I feel like that is the worst that he does when it comes to body horror in these books.
Body horror, yes. Just wait until you hit certain parts of Murtagh.
Dope, love that for me.
We have the confrontation with the head of the cult, which is fucking weird. He apparently had some previous history with Angela because she scares the fuck out of him.
Which I would
love a book that lets us know more about Angela.
That thing. I would cut off my own arm for a book series on Angela, personally. We do get very little in the novella that he does. Like, there's a small little mini blip about her.
It's not enough.
But it just raises more fucking questions, because of course it does.
But during this entire time that they are underneath the city in these sewers, Saphira is tearing apart the town. Like on top of the Citadel where they're fighting the cultist leader at the end after he's sent out a message to Saphira saying, "We're safe." She rips apart the cathedral, including knocking over the bell tower on top of Thorn.
Yeah, Saphira doesn't like roofs, like at all.
No, it was destroyed. After that, we have I don't think we have too much of a split there anymore for the perspectives, because Roran and Aragon and Oswada are all together. Then we have...
For a bit. Then, like, after the sacking...
As it said, Arya and Aragon end up getting drunk off of a some type of malted wine that Weirden had in his stash. And this is a note to people: when you get drunk, things happen. Because
Yeah.
their camp got ransacked and Nasuada was abducted by Murtagh.
Yeah. And we do, like Trix says, we do get little bits and pieces of her in her captivity.
We
Sprinkled
get
in
more than
throughout
we
the rest
like
of the
of
story.
it, honestly. Because because it had its own
Fucking
body
gross.
horror.
Yes, it did. Essentially, we find out that Murtagh has convinced Galbatorix, instead of just killing her outright, what if you just capture her and like make her
serve you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's Murtagh. He still had some feelings for her from when he was first in Farthendur and she was taking care of him in the jail cell, because she would go visit him regularly.
Yeah, like it's hinted that this man has already had kind of feelings for her, so he gets him to spare her, and they actually get a chance to bond slightly, because he, after the torture and all the stuff that she has to go through, because
There's multiple
Galbatorix is
times
trying to get her to spill.
He came down to the chamber that she was held in for the torture. One of the first
Hmm.
times was drunk off his ass and feeling sorry for himself. Then after that, he would come down every so often, gently
Humane
heal her
therapy.
enough that she'd be okay. And they
Like
talked to each other.
He gave her protection to the point where she wouldn't feel as much pain, but she still had to like fake it.
He
which is how
also
she was
made
able
it
to
to
get
where
through some of.
yeah, there was also at one point where Galbatorix started showing her a bunch of illusions and things to try and get her to break,
Mhm.
and he made a pact with her, like, I'll let you know when these start and when they are done.
Yep. And he like showed her pretty much how his mind felt like, so that she would know when it's him and when it's not him, which is good, because Galbatorix at one point tried to
fool her with
use
basically a happy memory of 10 years in the future after all this, where they've had kids together. They're married.
Yeah. And so she's like, show me what I've forgotten. And he tries to like pretend like he's Murtagh reaching into her brain. And she's like, wait, nope.
That's not him.
This ain't right. Yeah. But all of the while, she can't let him know how she knows this, because otherwise, obviously, Murtagh is fucked.
She has this whole thing of she's trying to almost make herself believe that she's not part of the Bard and she doesn't know anything that's going on, so that he can't get information from her. Like trying to brainwash herself almost.
Yeah, she straight up refuses to think about certain things like Eragon or Saphira or anything like that, any other plan. She's like, nope, we're not thinking about that.
It's like, I know nothing of this.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things, like, some of the things that he tries to do as he's like infiltrating her brain and making her imagine these things happening that she knows aren't real because of Murtagh. Like, this is the grand escape thing that Eragon,
Eragon had basically broken her out,
like,
but they're surrounded by a shit ton of army, and Eragon's almost like, we need to surrender, and it's like, that would never happen.
Like, no, it's not even so much that. She's like, there's a small part where she's just like, I was having a lot of fun and almost wanted to see how it was going to end, but she's like, nah, I'm gonna put a stop to this. And so she says, hey, Saphira's nose isn't right. Like, the scales around her nose or something like that.
There was also a cheeky moment where she told him, because originally in this, Galbatorix said there will be no lies in this chamber, and then all these illusions, she's like, I thought you told me you weren't going to lie to me.
Mm-hmm.
She is such a cheeky shit to him, and I love it.
Same. And this book 4 is definitely where I get the god damn it, you have the upper hand, why don't you just fucking kill the people? There's a point where the army is camped outside of Urbane. We have already had the big reveal.
Out to intimidate them. Not attack, intimidate.
Just to intimidate. This big ass fuck you dragon, which is described as bigger than a fucking mountain, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And like, he's just like, I'm not gonna use him to attack anybody, he's just going to intimidate. He literally has Eragon in his chamber thing at his mercy, and I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna kill you, I'm just gonna make you fight Murtagh for my amusement. Like,
and then you'll swear you'll feel to me after.
Yeah, this is why
like, he was so certain that he had his way going no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But all back before this, the whole
Yeah,
Aragon
we'll
going
come back
to
that.
Roengard to figure
Yep.
out the Vault of Souls and all of that. We see
Which
that the island has been taken over by pretty strange creatures.
it is very much a Fallout moment because the weird energy that is described to have permeated the island after the fall of the Rozaks, Jesus, the Riders.
Because one of the
Is-
guys has a plan to basically make it so no one could go there again, exploded himself, and that basically poisoned the entire area.
It is described in the information that you can find on the story that it's essentially radiation. So this is an irradiated island now. So things are, again, it's pretty much a Fallout situation. Things are evolving to be very not friendly. And this is the part that Kitty mentioned about the body horror with Nasawada, other than just the torture, the fucking grubs. This is where apparently they come from.
Yeah,
They're
a
grubs.
certain type of burrow grubs is what they were called.
Yep.
First of all, the fucking sound that he made for them in the audiobook. Yeah.
I forgot about that. I hate it so much.
Yeah, but he placed the burrow grub on Nasawada and motioned it to burrow into her elbow area. But when it jumps up, it splits itself into a bunch of little smaller ones and just starts digging through your skin.
Yeah, it's not great. And we see them again on the island, but thankfully they don't start chewing on Aragon.
No, he scares them off with Saphira.
We get a small glimpse of some of the creatures that are on there, some giant snails, some really creepy fucking birds, the fucking grubs. On the way there, we get a glimpse of some of the stuff that's just like living in the ocean. I can't remember what it's called, but it's essentially a giant sea monster.
It's basically an adjacent to the dragons. And it'll commit cannibalism because it'll eat its own kind and dragons that happen to land in the water, as Saphira almost is eaten. Which I feel like we're going to get more of that in another book of somebody eventually killing it.
I would absolutely love that so much.
But on the island, we have exploring the ruins of what used to be the Riders' home. And with the Rakakuthian, the Vault of Souls, you have to say your true name to get entrance into it. Glader knows his already. However, Saphira and Aragon have to find theirs. And Saphira finds hers first. Aragon has to take a little bit of time and ends up climbing up one of the pillars in the middle of the city after clearing away all the rubble and making it look pretty again, because something Aragon just does, I guess. And then stares at the stars. Like, this man has an entire, basically, clear my mind of everything before he finds his true name, which, cool. Is really descriptive there.
We also don't find out what their true names are. It's never mentioned in the book. It's just they speak their true names.
They never say it for anybody's true names. Because we don't hear it for Glader, we don't hear it for Arya, we don't hear it for Saphira or Aragon, and we don't hear Thorns or Murtags in their book. It's mentioned that they say it to themselves. We don't
know what the name of the
No, we don't get to know the name of names.
Either.
But it's whatever. Probably enough things of like, this is too much information, you guys can confuse it or try to focus on too much. We'll just skip past it. Which, that's whatever. But then we get to where they actually open the Vault of the Souls. They go down into it, and all of a sudden, big group of Beldenari and dragon eggs that no one knew existed, and Saphira and Aragon are both so excited. Saphira actually, I think, tears up, but like, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, because this takes a huge fucking pressure off of her, because she isn't going to...
Their race isn't going to die.
Yeah, she's not going to be the one that is solely responsible for the survival of her race. Because if you think about it, at least at this point, we haven't gotten to Fiernan, the Green Boy. We haven't gotten to Green Boy hatching yet, so her options for continuing the race were Thorn or Shirkin. And honestly, if I were her, I'd just let the race die too. It's like, nah, we're good.
But it's a whole big thing there, and one of the things that's really cool is Apparently, at one point, they made an automaton suit of armor that one of the Eldenari is inside controlling to protect the rest of it.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking awesome. It has like a head of a dragon, and it's just like I'm pretty sure they can maneuver it.
They can maneuver it. It moves around.
That's right. So Saphira is carrying this motherfucker back.
No,
with all
the
of
suit.
Eldenari.
No, the suit of armor and the one inside it stays to protect the eggs until Galbatorix is dead.
Oh, that's right.
Because it said that the vault will close and you will forget about it until the usurper is dead. So either you guys kill him and remember everything, or it'll stay closed and forgotten for however much longer it needs to be.
Yeah, until the bitch dies. They do take the Eldenari with them, though. Or
They
at
take
least
all
some
but
of them.
6 of them, I think.
Yeah.
I think it said. Like, they left only a handful there. And
Yeah.
one of the Eldenari they had was the dragon from the original leader of the Riders, Vrain.
Mm-hmm.
I
Or
forget
the most recent, the one that Galbatorix slayed.
Yeah, I don't
Vrain?
remember the name of the actual dragon, unfortunately, but it's whatever at this point. There's a lot of names. So
many
with
fucking
their
names.
help as they're attacking Urabane, first of all, Rorin is superhuman.
He is. And we get a little bit more of this, because that was the part that I had to go back and re-listen to.
So in the
Um,
Battle of Urabane, there is one of Galbatorix's generals named Bast. This man is a fucking beast.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one that ends up killing Queen Islanzadi. But we find out with the way his suit of armor is, because Rorin has this whole thing of no one that's that strong would be fat. And this man has a very weird set of armor that's like curves out around the belly. So it's like he has an Eldenari powering him.
Yep.
Rorin decides to use his strategic mind and gets them to fire all the catapults at this one man to clear away the wards he has thanks to Eldenari, and then crushes it with his bare hands through the armor.
I will say this, the armor had been damaged previously because this man had a fucking rock thrown on him, and he had an Urgle dent the armor with their axe, I guess, or
Yes,
whatever.
but it's still a case of this is strong as fuck armor and a heart of a dragon. And this man crushes it with his hands.
Okay, I just looked it up. Material of the Eldenari is they are composed of a tough biological material comparable to keratin. So it's not exactly like I was thinking. Because when it says magical gem-like organ, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be like a crystal or something. No, I guess it's made out of keratin.
No, it's the heart of hearts. It's not a full crystal, but it can shine like one. But it is a more biological thing. But no, Rorin proves that he is just superhuman with his strength here. He might not have a ton of intelligence other than strategy-wise, he still doesn't know how to read at this point. And that does get in his way because he's told to hand like missives to people. And
like Natsuada even gets onto this motherfucker before she gets kidnapped. You're like, you gotta learn how to fucking read.
Yeah, because you're too easy to manipulate that way.
Mm-hmm.
But he is the one that ends up with killing Bast because no one else has been able to. And because he makes the Eldenari basically expel all of its energy and burn this motherfucker up inside his armor.
Mm-hmm. Like, we got another big boom. There's a lot of big booms in this.
There is. But it's just one of those things where we said earlier, if Rorin became a rider, imagine that insane strength he has combined with the speed that being a rider gives you and the magic.
This man would be a menace. Like, if he ever wanted to, if he did become a rider and he ever wanted to just like overthrow fucking everything, he absolutely could.
Yeah.
Which there is a good chance that he could have been a rider because everyone else in fucking Aragorn's family is.
Yeah, everybody of his family is a rider because we have Murtagh as a, I guess it would just be a standard cousin because it was his, would it be a cousin once removed or something like that? Because it was his mother's sister that was the mother
No,
of
it was Garrow's. It was Garrow's sister.
Garrow's
So
sister.
it would have been his aunt's
His aunt's son.
first child. So they would have been half cousins.
It would have been half cousins. So same as
Same as
Aragon.
Aragon,
Okay, but yeah, all of his family's writers. So there's
No,
a
they
good.
would be. I'm dumb. I'm dumb as fuck. They'd be full cousins, but Aragon
where
and
it's
Murtagh are
half brothers
They
for
would be full
Murtagh, yeah.
cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because Murtagh and Aragon both became riders, it's likely that Roran has the qualities that if a dragon wanted to accept him, he would get a dragon.
Yeah, because and again, both Murtagh and Aragon's fathers
it
were
might-
riders.
And it's possible it might not be him; it might be their child.
Listen, if their child becomes a rider, I would be so happy.
But going to the final battle with Galbatorix, this whole thing where Aragon has finally learned how to actually fight and read his opponents because Glader made sure he could do that, otherwise he kept on getting his ass kicked. It is, they're not allowed to kill each other, but Galbatorix says, injure each other as much as you want, I don't care, I'll just heal you back up. Aragon basically sacrifices himself to take the hit to defeat Murtagh in the end. Like, he gets stabbed through his side.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes and no. They both get very fucking wounded.
Yes, they
Because
do.
as he's getting stabbed in his side, Murtagh gets stabbed in his stomach.
Yeah.
But in the process of Murtagh, because Aragon has decided, fuck it, I'm gonna win. Aragon does that. It's about this point that Murtagh has his whole big thing where his name changes and he is able to.
He has a
off the
revelation
control
while
of Galbatorix.
fighting. He has a revelation while fighting Aragon because he realizes that's the reason why we are different. You do not care. You will sacrifice stuff for what you want, whereas I'm too preserved.
And it's definitely one of those things that it probably has to do with him falling in love with Nasawada because the whole love conquers everything. But
It's enough where he can
Even-
he breaks the basically hold that Galbatorix has over him because it was done with a true name. His true name has changed, so he's no longer in control. So he
Mhm.
uses the name of names to strip away Galbatorix's wards so that Aragon and Arya can start using their magic again against him.
Yeah.
Galbatorix still
Um,
overpowers the fuck out of Aragon because he uses the Eldenari that's in the area and basically almost takes over his mind. Aragon gets to the point of just desperation. He doesn't want to kill Galbatorix. All he wants to do is make him realize the error of his ways. So with the power of the Eldenari that Aragon brought with him, he makes Galbatorix feel. That's what it is. Feel what you have done, and it drives Galbatorix mad.
I don't think it's so much that he doesn't want to kill
No,
Galbatorix.
it's actually there.
I don't think he thinks that he can kill Galbatorix. It's definitely one of those, I'm about to die, we're fucked, this is going to be a Hail Mary last-ditch effort. I just want you to know what the fuck you did.
And maybe if this doesn't kill you, it'll be a case of maybe it'll change him.
Yeah. It's very much a we're all about to fucking die. I hope this works.
That's actually a comment
But-
that Murtagh makes in his book is I could never think like that. I wouldn't have pity for my enemies.
Well, that goes back to, yes, they might be half brothers, but how they were raised is so
Morzan
vastly
versus
different.
Braum.
Not just Morzan versus Braum, like their sires do have a hand in it, but it's also it's the nature versus nurture thing. It's how they were raised. Aragon was raised, yes, by his aunt and uncle, but he was raised in a loving environment.
Mm-hmm.
Murtagh wasn't.
No.
Like,
He
this
always
man got to
resented.
know his Yeah, he got to know his parents more, but he was raised in the court, and he couldn't trust anybody except Tornak.
So with that, afterwards, Galbatorix explodes himself because he'd rather die than deal with the pain of what he suffered with
I'd rather
everybody
die
else.
I would rather die than face the consequences of my actions. How fucking typical.
Yeah. So we have everybody gets to escape from the Citadel because Aragon has this big shield thanks to Eldonari that protects them from the radiation of this blast. Because what Galbatorix does is the exact same thing that the Rider did on Rowengard.
Yeah, it's I'm taking you out with me kind of thing. He's like, fuck this. As they're escaping, Arya runs off because she's trying to find the spellcasters that went with them and got separated, but also the dragon egg.
Yeah, which she finds.
Yeah, and
They
I'm
all
pretty
come
sure
out
she
fine.
finds more Elden. Yeah, they find the spellcasters. They find.
They get out all the
Eldonari
Eldonari as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they find the green egg. So they all make it out.
Then we have at the end of the book is the whole, how is this world going to go after all this war is now just ended? Nasawada becomes queen begrudgingly to Orin. Because he's being a selfish, pompous asshole. We've sacrificed so much for this war, and I should be the one that controls everything. It's like, you're going to end up being just like Galbatorix.
It's giving very much the parents that are like, well, I paid for all of this to raise you type thing. But at the same time, because it does go into it, like, after the battle, it doesn't end at the battle. It does go into the aftermath and wrapping up everything. They're having the meeting with all of the leaders of all of the different armies, and pretty much everyone says,
we
sided with the Vard. Yeah, we are on the Varden side. So whatever she does, we're gonna support within reason, obviously.
And Orin throws a fit because everybody's against me.
Yeah. But, like, if you decide that you want to go against her, you're going to have to deal with all of us. So, again, Orin has to just, like, well, fuck, I guess I'll just wear allegiance.
And Nasawada had very good points as well, because the Weircats and the Urgles all also swore to her. They didn't swear to Orin.
No, it was very much, she was the centerpiece of everybody that was there.
Like, if we are going to have peace among all the races, it's got to be her.
Something else, speaking of peace amongst all the races, something else that we learned just by the Urgles being intertwined with everybody, we learned that some of the things that they do, part of their culture, is they have to have fights. They have to have battles to prove themselves worthy of mates, to prove themselves worthy of just, like, well, worthy in general.
That's why there's always so much conflict around them, why people got scared of them, because they'd go and attack villages to prove themselves to their people, to the mates they want.
Yep.
And Nasawada, I don't remember exactly what it was, but was talking about participating in tournaments or something like that to win their glory.
That was something that Aragon came up with. In addition to wanting to expand the riders to include dwarves and Urgles, when he was on his way back from Rowengard with all of the eggs, well, not all of the eggs, but the eggs, after they defeated Galbatorix and remembered everything, on his way back, he stopped with the Urgles, met with them, and said, I got an idea. What if we do, like, a tournament thing? Once every couple of years, you can send your best that want to try and compete. They can compete against other people, other races, to prove themselves. So that way you don't have to worry about essentially trying to fight and have battles. They can spend the time training amongst themselves type thing. It's very much an Olympic Games situation, which I thought was really cool.
It's a very good solution there.
Like, hey, you don't have to kill us. How about you just compete?
And then during that entire time, Aragon was looking for a good place to raise the dragons' eggs and all that. None of the places that used to be for dragons were good anymore, because either they were too close to one civilization, would give favor to them, or not inhabitable anymore. So it was like, you know what? We're going to leave Alagasia to go and start the riders over again, fulfilling the final bit of the prophecy from Angela.
Because, like Kitty said, they didn't want to have him be on the crags where Glader and Ormus was traditional, because it was too close to the elves. They didn't want it to be in Farthen Dor or in the Weir Mountains, which would have been good place for protection, but it was too close to the dwarves, and they didn't want to, like, be stealing their crop. Jesus, thank you.
All the animals and stuff there.
Yeah, they didn't want them to be stealing their animals and stuff like that, and just like fucking, because dragons are gonna need to eat.
The dwarves still aren't a big fan of the dragons.
For good reason. So he just decided we're just gonna go somewhere completely different. Because he also didn't want to be in the Hatterack Desert. I can't remember the exact reason, but it was essentially because safety.
Yeah. And with basically the book ends with Aragon finally leaving Alagasia after spending a little bit more time with Roran, Katrina, and Arya. They are the last ones that we see.
Before we get to that, backtracking again, during his farewell tour, Aragon goes up to Ellesmere.
Katrina has the baby.
Yeah, Katrina has her baby. It's a daughter. I can't remember her name. They name it after her mother, essentially.
Yeah.
But they go up to Ellesmere. Roran and Katrina get to go to see the dwarves. They get to go see the elves. While we are in Ellesmere, this motherfucker forgot that's where he sent Sloane. So we get an end to Sloane's arc.
He actually gives Sloane back his eyes.
He does, as a way to kind of, is mostly pity.
Look upon your family that you will never be able to talk to again.
Yeah, but you can see that this is the closest thing that we ever get to a kind of
reconciliation.
It's not quite forgiveness. Yeah, reconciliation between Sloane and Aragon, because Sloane is now able to see his daughter and his granddaughter, even if he's never ever going to be able to talk to them. Which, fair.
Almost more cruel than just keeping his sight gone.
In a way, yes. But I think at least being able to see them instead of only being able to hear them, because at least you can see and hear them. You can see that she's happy, she's doing well. This little motherfucker that you didn't think was good enough for her is actually making her very happy, and it's
actually been made a lord of the land because he was given all of Helen Carvallius's.
Yeah, this man is now high up in things, so no longer just a farmer.
Masuwada appointed him basically a lord.
Yeah, and he's gonna go back to fucking Carvajal and build a castle on a hill, like he and Aragon always used to talk about. But also something else that they just fucking gloss over. Fiernan, Arya's dragon, he and Saphira get to know each other very well. That's one way to put it. They get to know each other very well. They mate. And we don't get any confirmation that Saphira is going to have eggs, but they mate a lot, apparently. Because there's a couple of points where Aragon is just like, he tries to reach out to Saphira or talk to her or something, and he like touches her mind, and he just like, nope.
I just remembered back in it was either Eldest or Brisingar. I think it was Brisingar. Saphira just contacts Roran while he's in the middle of having sex with Katrina.
I forgot about that. She's like, this is important. He's like, can it wait? She's like, no, this is important. He's like, okay, hold on. He's just like not impressed or amused. She's just like, God, fucking hurry up. I forgot about that. That was when they got Katrina back. They went straight into celebrating, and Saphira's just like, hurry the fuck up. This is important. I don't have time for this shit.
Saphira is so arrogant of herself.
Well, that was one of the things that they do talk about a little bit about her. We don't hear what her true name is, but it does mention that her vanity.
She is very vain. She thinks she is the most beautiful thing in existence.
I mean, as the only female dragon for the longest time, I get it.
Not wrong. But, yeah. Going back, there is very many times where, even at the very first moment when Saphira and Fiernan meet each other, you can tell. They fly off, and both Aragon and Arya can feel the emotions between them. Aragon just gets very uncomfortable.
This man just immediately starts trying to avert his eyes from Arya because he's already got his own feelings for her. So he's just like, this is fucking awkward.
And this is gonna...
But no.
They don't explain it, but you can almost guarantee that he was getting an erection.
Oh God, poor thing. But like as soon as she meets Fearon, she's just like, I'm gonna test him. I'm gonna make sure he's good. And I
Yeah.
guess he passes the fucking test because they have a little tussle. She's like, all right, let's go. And they fly off into the sunset.
And until Aragon and
frequently-
Saphira leave Allegatia, they are basically always together.
Yeah, which is cute.
And she is so begrudging to leave him.
I mean, so is Aragon. And that's what you get for falling in love with the royal, which was also part of fucking Angela's prophecy.
Yeah. Like, every single thing that she prophesied came true.
Mm-hmm. Like, that shit was on point.
That's what the Dragon Bones do.
Mm-hmm.
But with that is the end of the inheritance cycle.
Woo!
Murtagh we will cover another time. Probably after they might have a... Yeah, I finished it. I basically went straight from inheritance into that.
I'm taking a break from inheritance by going back to Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then I'm going to take a break from all of it and read something that is
short.
Short, light, and fluffy, because damn it, this book is 20 hours. Inheritance was 31. Like, give me something short. Give me an 8-hour book. I'll be good.
But overall, this was my first full read through of it. It was very much enjoyable. Like, it had been long enough since I read the original books that it was still basically brand new for me.
That makes me happy. This is my second full read through it because periodically I read Aragon, but then I get to Eldest and then I just like, this is fine.
It was a very fun experience. I think overall, at the moment of book series that I have read, it is my favorite. But I can't say that I've read a ton of series, because a lot of what I read was all of one series at a time when I was doing a lot of reading. So I had the Alex Rider series, I had the Harry Potter series back before all of the bullshit with her.
That thing.
Then it was the Aragon series I was reading some of, but never finished that one. So I'm happy to have done that now. I also had a lot of the Warrior Cats books because I read through all of those that were out at the time.
And there's apparently a lot fucking more.
Yeah, no, they've made another 2 series since I stopped reading it.
Ugh.
I don't know if I'm ever going to dive back into that one because that's a lot.
Well, if you decide to, I have the audiobooks somewhere.
But I'd say overall probably a solid 8.5 to a 9 out of 10 for the entire series.
Same. There are definitely going to be some books that I rate higher than others. And
as an overall series, this one is super high. Individual books will be higher or lower.
Oh yeah. I will say, again, Galbatorix just pisses me off as a villain because he had multiple.
He follows every single
chances.
stereotypical villain trope from every type of movie you can think of.
Yep. And I know that you kind of have to do that because obviously you can't let the villain be smart and just kill all of his enemies because, well, then you're just kind of fucked.
Because then you don't have a series and you don't have a protagonist that wins.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the protagonist needs to win, so the villain has to be incompetent, even though he's been in control forever. But I will say this. When I first read through the series, I was slightly disappointed in the climax of the fight between him and Galbatorix. It's like, this man just bitched the fuck out. And, like, I was expecting, like, this big battle, this big, like, confrontation, this big kind of thing. But I also read this, like, when it came out in 2011, so...
And now that we're older, we have a lot more insight to this stuff, and it's like, that's actually a very smart thing.
I don't know about smart, but it is...
It's out of the box.
It's very true to Aragon as a character because he doesn't want to kill people
He is
unless he
never
absolutely has to.
he has never been one that'll just go out and fight because he wants to. It's only if he has to.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple of times where he gets a full head and he tries to fight some people to show off. But it's never an actual, like, I'm going to kill this person just so I can show off.
I would say it's more than just every once in a while, because this man...
He thinks he has to prove himself because he's
Yeah.
been the first dragon rider in 100 years. That's not underneath Galbatorix. Like, I have to prove that I'm worthy of this title and all that, so I'm going to fight. But
yeah, he very much tries to fight to the point where he ends up fucking himself up a lot, which is why he loses so many of his fights and battles in the beginning before Glader is just like, you're gonna fucking do this until you get it right, kind of thing.
honestly, that whole exchange between him, Arya, and Glader teaching him how to properly read your opponent and fight, bruh. Like, this guy was a drill master until the point that they both almost passed out from exhaustion.
They were like on the ground panting, just like, I cannot fucking move.
It's like, fine, we'll stop now.
Like, Glader was not having any of your shit. It's like, do you know how fucking old I am? I'm having to deal with y'all. But yeah, no. I would say a good 8 to 9 overall for the series. It's very much one that I enjoy and frequently go back to.
I feel like it's one that I would have rereads, but it's going to be like background at this point because I'm not going to want to focus on it again.
Not for a minute, anyway.
Not after spending 80-something hours. Let's see. The first book on Audible was about... The first book was about 16 and a half. Eldest was 21, 22. Prison Girl was 29 hours. And Inheritance was 31.
Paolini, you lengthy bitch.
Then Murtagh is 24, 25 hours?
Oh, it's short. Nice.
Short.
Shortish.
But just think, if that's the first of Murtagh series, how long are the other ones going to become?
I haven't even seen an update on any more from that series.
Well, to be fair, it just came out like, what, 2 years ago now?
3. It was 23, I'm pretty sure.
23?
I'm fairly sure. Let me double
I think he's focused more on making this series at this point.
I think he is as well. Tales of Allegazia, Fork Witch and the Worm in 2018. Spin-offs, Murtagh, 2023.
Okay. Any closing thoughts for this?
All of my gripe about the series aside, this is one that I will always recommend to people. If
you can endure the length of these, they are worth the read.
I will recommend reading the physical copy, or at least having the physical copy on hand, or some way that you can look up the meaning of some of the shit that they say in the ancient language, because they don't always translate it whenever you're listening to it, just like listening to it. So there will be times where you're going along at a good little click, and then someone will say something in the ancient language, and you're just like, huh? And it's not just ancient language, it's Dwarvish and Urgle speak as well. Like, there's translations for all of that in the back of the books. So I recommend having at least the glossary on hand.
Yeah, I recommend it entirely.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Tolkien, if you're a fan of high fantasy,
If you're
it's-
not
this is
bothered by the
definitely a good-
chosen one trope.
Yeah. Or very stupid villains. This is definitely a good one to have. But what about you for closing thoughts?
Go into it with an open mind, because take in account most of these main characters are young as fuck. So
Mhm.
you have a lot of little weird insights to the mind of a teenager, especially Aragon and his love for Arya. Like, this man is awkward as fuck.
Yeah. Like this poor child. And that's another thing that is fairly good to remember. This still a fucking child. He is still a child. I don't care that by their standards he's a man. He is a whole child.
He has the fate of the world on his shoulders as a 15-year-old.
Yeah. Which is never a fun thing to...
And even with the others, Roran might be one of the older ones, but you can still tell where some of his child mentality is. And Nasawada as well, especially when it comes to making the lace to make money. It's like, no adult would think of this.
It's... At least for when it comes to Nasawada, I think she is mature enough for the most part. She does have her moments, especially when she has to deal with fucking Orin, but she does have her moments where she shows that she is at least,
She is
I don't
barely
want
an
to say
adult.
trained. She's barely an adult, but she's at least got a good enough head on her shoulders to know when and where to react. Because on a regular basis, this woman is having to rein in Aragon and his fucking cousin. She's just like, y'all need to get fucked together. Come on. Because she was raised in and around the Varden all of her life. She grew up watching her father do this, so she knows how to lead, which is good. And so she's having to deal with these two chuckle fucks
who came from the
just like-
bumfuck nowhere.
Yep. And what do you mean you're a writer and you have all of this power and we have to deal with, you have absolutely no idea what's going on. Cool. Love that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But yeah. This is a much
honestly, that
longer
made me-
recording. If you've gone through this entire thing with us, I really appreciate it. If not,
yeah,
if you haven't gotten this part, that's fine. However much you watched, whatever. If
we
you
appreciate you.
have stuck with us this long, hit the like button on this, because clearly you are as dedicated to this series as we are, and you honestly wanted our opinions on this, so it's really greatly appreciated. And in
Either
the comments,
that or you appreciate listening to us as background noise.
that too, put down in the comments below your thoughts for parts of the books. Doesn't have to be the entire things. Definitely doesn't have to be the entire things.
Like, you could do a quick summary of everything. It'd be appreciated.
Yeah, and just really appreciate all of you guys that are following.
Mhm.
Well, subscribed, I guess, for YouTube. It's not following on YouTube. Whatever. And
Following along with the books.
yeah, I'm still needing to do the solo recording for all of the Alex Rider series. I have not done that yet. I've been procrastinating. So that will probably be coming up within the next couple of weeks. I'm going to force myself to do it. We might also have the recording for Alex Rider Stormbreaker, the book versus the movie, because Bella's never read it. So we're going to go with her seeing the movie without reading, me watching it with reading, and see differing opinions on that. I think it'll be something cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, probably going to do just another standard book club of what we've been reading, because it'll be different from now on, most likely. Eventually I'll get Dungeon Crawler Carl, but that's at least one series away, because I've started a series called System Apocalypse, which is a very interesting one. And I can explain that more whenever we do another book club meeting.
Words are hard.
Words are hard right now. We've been talking a lot. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.
And if you want
Oop.
more of Shrek's Sorry. If you want to see more of Strix, don't forget to follow him on Twitch and all of the different socials. But yes, we very much appreciate you listening to us ramble.
Everybody have a good rest of the day whenever you're watching this. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everybody.
Bye.